What'd you do this for?
I'm so sorry. I really am.
I'm still gonna be there for her.
This is a generational curse that you have got to break right now, because the effects of your mistake can be your child going through the exact same thing you did.
Mrs. Thompson walks into court today yelling that she will never let her 11-year-old marriage die, even though she cheated on her husband back to back. Ooh, she's feisty. She says that her 4-month-old child definitely belongs to her husband, Mr. Thompson, and his doubts about the child are basically cuckoo and have zero truth to them. Let us listen to her talk her stuff.
It's very difficult. You know, I want Micah to be his son. I don't want to lose my best friend. We've been together for so long. And, you know, I just don't want to lose him.
All right. Well, take me back. I want to understand how this relationship began. Certainly, at some point, you all were happy together.
Yes.
Oh, she sounds really sad and definitely does not want to lose Mr. Thompson. But does Mr. Thompson buy this act? Well, he says that their relationship has been rocky, and Mrs. Thompson here is allergic to cooking and cleaning, whatever that means. But that's not really our business. Our business is this baby and the doubts Mr. Thompson has, and here they are.
I had found out she was doing some things that she shouldn't have been doing. Text messaging, meeting up with guys and stuff like that. So when I confronted her, she said it wasn't true. So when she said it wasn't true, I found out otherwise. I had to get a DNA test on my first two boys. We married, but every time while we're in a marriage, and every time you get pregnant, I gotta get a DNA test.
Yeah, that is a super weird arrangement you've got going on for you there, Patna. You can't be DNA testing all your kids. And if you do, don't be surprised that you one day end up in paternity court facing Judge Lauren. But what does Lil Mrs. Thompson, who does not want her marriage to end, know about all of this?
I was going to ask the same question.
You know, I don't understand.
What happened in this relation?
Honestly, Your Honor, I think when we first got married, we really weren't ready to be married.
You didn't understand the depth of the commitment and the responsibility of marriage.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is what I felt went wrong in the marriage.
Okay, valid, but a very weird reason to cheat. Seriously, that is such a super weird answer, Mrs. Thompson. What do you mean you did not get married at the right time, so your marriage got rocky, so you stepped out? Women, am I right? Anyway, Mr. Tomposen has a few more interesting comments here.
Me and LaToya had ample opportunities where I came to LaToya and I was like, listen here, you're not doing certain things in the marriage that should be going on. You're not working. If you're not gonna work, I need you to cook, clean, we need to have sex on the regular, things like that.
But was it just on her to fix, or was it both of you all?
But the thing about it is she really don't talk, so she don't tell me my fault.
Yeah, this is paternity court, not couples counseling, so I will be needing the both of you to pack it up and get right to the point right about away. Mrs. Thompson insists that their marriage was super great until one day, for no reason at all, Mr. Thompson decided to get out to get some milk, and Mr. Thompson says the milk was really good too.
When I left, she said she was gonna work on herself. Me and her had ample conversations.
While he was with somebody else.
About her working on herself. She was working on herself because she deleted me off social media. I found out she started adding all these other dudes to her social media page.
Because you were gone. You were living with somebody else.
Really? Really? Okay, so why should she not move on then? But Mr. Thompson does have a reason to be angry, because he came back to be with her, and they decided to work on their marriage. And then Miss Thompson went to Atlanta for a supposed job interview. But it wasn't no job interview. It was her interestingly viewing another man.
She was like, well, we went out and my friend took my phone and she said, we out, so you don't need to be on the phone. I'm like, man, you married, you got kids, and what woman gonna tell you some trash like that?
So once she came back, how did you find out that she had been sleeping with someone else?
Well, I already knew what she was going to do. I didn't have no proof, but I knew she was going to do. Now,
is that what you were going to do, Miss Thompson?
I can't even lie about it. Yeah, it was.
Now, that's the first time.
Phew, and there you have it, folks. And Mrs. Thompson did not go for this interview just once. She went back a week later. That is why Mr. Thompson thinks baby Pate Thompson belongs to another man and not him. But what does Mrs. Thompson have to say for herself? She must have something, right? Yes, she does, and boy oh boy, it is spicy too.
Yes, it's true, Your Honor, but he skips over all the stuff that he did. Besides the going back and forth all summer between me and the other girl, and then moving all the way to Alabama with the girl and leaving me with the kids. But he want to talk about one time when he had the kids and they were looking for me.
Wow, Mrs. Thompson sure can give it hot. So now we have got two adults who cheated on one another, and the best way to see if this marriage can stay a marriage is see if the DNA test proves that this baby boy belongs to Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson, you are not the father. I know that's not what you wanted to hear. How are you feeling in this moment?
I had already accepted the situation when I knew he wasn't, but it's to actually know he's not mad, it just hurts a little bit more. The other dude don't want nothing to do with him, but like I said, I can't let another child grow up without a father.
Mr. Brown says found a sex tape of his wife with another man, and now he's saying that he is 100% certain he isn't the father of her 11-month-old child, Amira. Ms. McKinney, who is also pregnant, is screaming that that's a lie and that Mr. Brown must step up as he is definitely Amira's dad. Here is how she puts it.
Of your wife with another man, you now intend to prove he fathered Amira. We'll meet that man in a moment, but first, Ms. McKinney, tell us why this court date is so important.
He's denying the fact that that's his daughter, and it's not about looks, it's about DNA, and I'm here today to prove and show that he is the father of Amira Brown.
Well, we'll see about that. Mr. Brown, on the other hand, has no doubts that the DNA test results will come back negative. He also thinks that the man who starred in that video with his wife may be the child's father.
Because when she was born, she did not look like me. And I waited, I gave it time to see how she would look, and more every day that I look and take pictures with Amira, she has his face, and it bothers me a lot.
So you feel Amira looks like the man you saw on the sex tape with your wife?
Yes, I do.
Wait, did Mr. Brown just accuse his wife of incest? That's insane. But how did he even get this tape that caused all of this? And how did Miss McKinney and this man act out such a tape?
The girls, they like snatching her phone. So they grabbed her phone. Before they could even get into the video, I grabbed it and it pressed play. And I seen the beginning of the video and I didn't see what I liked, so I just disclosed it. I didn't watch the whole video.
The video came up or you went looking to see what was in her phone?
I was scrolling through her pictures, whatever. And before they could even get to it, I grabbed the phone.
Oh, because you knew it was something inappropriate.
Yeah, it didn't look right. It didn't look right. It looked like a video. So, I clicked on it. I didn't like what I seen and I disclosed it.
Sheesh! 10 times. Gosh, things are starting to look insane. And the man who's in the tape is in court today, and he doesn't mince words at all. It's straight to the point with this guy.
Well, when I first met Miss McKinley, we was talking on the dating site, and the day I met her, Mr. Brown was present, but they wasn't together. But I seen them face to face.
Oh, the day you met her in person?
Yes.
He was there?
Yes.
So how did the sexual relationship start with Miss McKinney?
Me and Miss McKinley been having sex.
It's Miss McKinney.
Oh, Miss McKinley.
I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like just 10 times. The real number is probably double that, at the very least. Anyway, Miss McKinney got pregnant, and here is what she told everyone.
And she's ready to give birth.
So who did she say the father was?
She didn't tell me
I
nothing.
said it was complicated.
I believe it was complicated because, like I said,
I was back and forth with him and him.
that sex
back
tape
and forth.
was April 9th, and Amira was born April 9th.
Did that math add up?
No.
No, that maths didn't add up at all. So Ms. McKinney was acting out a tape on the day she gave birth? What? Really? At 9 months pregnant? That's insane. The funny thing is that before Ms. McKinney gave birth, Mr. Brown already knew that something fishy was going on. Here is how he puts it.
There, I was present.
And then when you found out, did you say, oh, I'm so excited, or did you say, is this my child?
First, I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited. And then when we went to the hospital back in September, they would say she was 11 weeks pregnant. And then when they told her the due date,
It was 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks. 12 weeks pregnant, actually.
Okay, Mr. Spidey Senses, you felt something you want right and decided to do something about it. Mr. Brown was present at the birth and made sure not to sign for the birth certificate even though he was legally married to Ms. McKinney. Once he saw the baby, he thought something was wrong, and he explains how in this long, crazy long, almost schizophrenic rant.
I said, hey, when I was born, I was pale. But wait, look at her lip. Why does her lip look so fat? That's not my lip. My lip does not look like that. Oh, no, it does not. So from that time in, I put it in my head, I'm like, wait, okay, if she's not mine, then she gotta be Mr. Jonathan's child, because she started looking more and more like him.
Wow, you can clearly see why Mr. Brown feels so strongly that this child isn't his. He has done a full scientific study on this stuff. He knows it in his heart, and there's nothing anyone can do to change his mind. And now, to blow your mind, guess what?
And not only that, she's pregnant with my child now, so it's like,
You said now you're having another baby?
Yeah. I may be the father, right?
No, that's my child.
But let me ask you, could you be the father?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So, do you believe you are Amira's father?
No, I do not.
When's the last time you were intimate with Miss McKinney?
2017 of April.
Oh, so it's scientifically improbable that this other fellow is the father. Does that mean that Mr. Brown could end up being the father after everything? That would be crazy. Let's see what the DNA test has to say about this.
Mr. Fowler, you are not the father.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
He's not the father, Mr. Brown.
Okay, I was like to say I apologize.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father. Miss McKinney, McKinney, are you okay?
What just happened? So neither man fathered Amira, so who is the father then? There's a third man in the mix? If there's a third man, why didn't Ms. McKinney let us know? Well, there's nothing left for her to do but cry about her sorry fate.
Jerome, help her. Jerome, help her. Jerome will help you up, Miss McKinney, and I want you to sit in the chair. Someone call the medic, please.
Mrs. Graves might have been fast and loose when she was younger, but today she wants her husband to step up and start acting like a father to her 19-year-old daughter. This is despite the fact that 2 other men could possibly be the girl's father. Here is how she puts it.
I feel like he kind of punishing me and my daughter. You know,
Punishing you how?
like the way he treats it. You know, I mean, he's not the man that he should be for the family.
What is he punishing you for?
We had a DNA for my first daughter. It was 22 years ago, and he took care of her for a whole year. And I was always honest. I always told him there was for her as well.
Okay, this is getting confusing. Let's recap. 22 years ago, Ms. Graves had a daughter, and it was proven that Mr. Baker isn't the father of her daughter. And now she says he's punishing her and her second daughter for that by claiming he isn't the second child's father, too. But Mr. Baker says he is just showing tough love. How exactly does he show this tough love? Here's how.
Explain, how does he treat your daughter? Why are you saying, what is this tough love you're talking?
He's saying tough love, but he cusses her. I mean, he's rude.
Mr. Baker, why are you cursing a 19-year-old girl? What is this behavior?
I mean, verbal words come out due to the fact that, you know, hey, she felt like I hurt her. So,
he does me the same.
Now we are getting somewhere. Ms. Graves says this entire thing is affecting her marriage to him, and that Mr. Baker must get his act together. This is so much baggage for a family to carry for over 20 years, right? Wait, they've been married this whole time, right?
You two have been in a relationship for almost 22 years.
No, ma'am.
We've been dealing with each other for 22 years.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think that's what I meant, but
Yeah.
thank you for the clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I appreciate that. But what I want to make clear is you were not married until later on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's making sense now. Ms. Graves says when she told Mr. Baker that, hey, this child might look like you, he started cursing her out and belittled her in front of all his family members. Mr. Baker, on the other hand, says no one ever told him the child could be his. And he has more allegations for Ms. Graves.
I mean, you were with other guys at the time. I was with other people. So
It didn't
you just
matter.
can't just say
You were a
basically-
possibility,
just
so you should have
basically
said
can't say
okay
that
and went
this
on
was
with
meant.
it.
All
But
right,
Mr.
okay.
We wouldn't be
do you
here today.
Do you remember this instant when you were on and off? At some point, she came to you and said, I think Vanisha is your daughter. Do
I
you
don't
remember that?
I don't remember as far as like, you know, just saying.
You don't remember
basically-
cussing me out in front of your mom?
It kind of looks like Mr. Baker remembers, to be honest, but it's not a couple's case on paternity court if husband and wife don't start screaming at each other in court.
Her father.
Okay,
You've
but what
never told-
about when she was 10?
When she was 10.
And
okay.
we were together,
Okay.
and she was calling you
You
daddy.
told me that she was
and-
my father. I mean, I
No,
was her father.
you told me
You
that
told
she
me
looked like you.
Okay,
with similarities.
I said that.
Okay.
I know I said
Okay,
that.
then.
But I didn't say,
So he
did
been
you say
knowing
that
it.
I was her father? I mean, you know, when you see a child and you look at a child, you look at him and you be like, okay, well.
Yeah, she's right. But is Ms. Graves forgetting that she's the one who was sleeping with different men when she conceived her child? This is insane. But you kind of get where Ms. Graves is coming from when she says this.
Mistake after mistake after mistake has led us here. I mean, we're separated right now. I went to my mom's house for 2 weeks just to clear my mind. I have terminal cancer. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even know how to treat me with that. He's not compassionate. He cussed me out. You know, I'm doing chemo, and right before I do the chemo, we're arguing.
Wow, this is one nutty family. Mr. Baker may have some legitimate grievances, but he's going about them in probably the wrongest way possible. It really doesn't look like this marriage is going to stand the test of time. Anyway, Judge Lauren gives Mr. Baker a good talking to for his behavior.
You married this woman 4 years ago
Yes,
after
ma'am.
22 years of on and off involvement.
Yes.
Now she's dealing with a very serious medical situation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Surely you understand
I do. I mean, I really
that
do.
arguing and getting her upset doesn't do anything for her health, for her care. You understand that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, Mr. Baker may have a point, but right now he's getting on all our nerves, not just Judge Lawrence. Now let's get into Mr. Baker's doubts. Why doesn't he think Vanisha here is his kid?
Same time, the timing, it could match up and it could not match up.
The two other men, how did you find out about these
I mean,
two
she
other
told
men?
me about him. Miss Graves told me about him.
What did she tell you?
She said that it could be a possibility that 2 other guys that she's involved with could be the father of Miss Curl. And I was like,
And
you
so,
know,
Ms. Graves, you did admit to him that there were 2 other potential fathers.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, so Ms. Graves here is kind of playing the victim. She's asking so much of Mr. Baker while asking little or nothing from the other men who might be her kid's father. That's just not how it works. Here is why Ms. Graves thinks her daughter is Mr. Baker's.
It was because of the conception and then the resemblance. You know, when she was 10 years old, we got back into a relationship. At that time, he started seeing things. Look at her eyes, look at her nose, look at her, you know, it was always her walk, the way she walked, and all of that. It was always something.
These guys clearly have some deep-rooted issues they have to work through, and one way to do that is by getting them the DNA test results they desperately need. And here is what that test result says.
Mr. Baker, you are not her father.
you're my daughter no matter what. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to...
Rachel Chappelle is a married woman who stepped out of her marriage because her husband simply didn't please her in the bedroom. That's right, and she admits to it too. Now, she's in court to see if her husband is the father of her baby. Mr. Chappelle is also in court to see the results. And here is what Ms. Chappelle has to say to him.
We got engaged 4 months later. We got married on Valentine's Day. We had a son together, probably about a year later. I started getting bored with our sex life. I kept telling him and telling him and telling him. I said I wanted to change it.
No, it takes 2 people.
Well, if I tell you that we needed to change it, we needed to change it because I wasn't happy sexually.
I'm working 40 hours a week. I'm trying to provide for you and my son.
Yikes. The point of getting married is that you don't get to step out to find out whether there's someone else who can give you what you want in the bed. Maybe Ms. Chappelle didn't get that memo, and now her marriage is on the brink of collapse. But at least she regrets it. Who?
Do I regret it? Yes, I do. I do regret it every day, but I don't regret my daughter. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
And so you admit to having an affair.
Yes, I did.
How did that start?
Well, he was a friend and we started sexting and I would hide it. We would send messages on Facebook. I'd drop my son off at the babysitter's. I would tell my husband I was going somewhere else.
This is so embarrassing. Can you imagine being in Mr. Chappelle's shoes? Having your wife testify that you just don't bring it in bed in open court? I would literally die from that embarrassment. That's for sure. It's a miracle Mr. Chappelle is still standing. Now let's talk about the window of conception and who the father could be.
Well, I have the calendar to show I had sex with both of them on the same day at one point.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerome, will you please hand me that evidence, please? Can't get any closer in proximity than that. Green, we have the days you were intimate with the other potential father.
Yes.
Which is inside the window of conception, which is outlined in pink here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, things are not getting any clearer here. And you'd think, well, Miss Chappelle here is a married woman. She's surely having protected intercourse with the man she's having an affair with, right?
It was always unprotected sex. I figured he would pull out, but he never did. And I would tell him constantly, I don't want to get pregnant, I don't want to get pregnant, and he would never listen to me.
Your Honor, she had
Mr.
unprotected...
Chappelle, how does it feel to hear this? This is a lot of information.
It makes me sick.
And this is your wife?
Yeah, and I'm working 40 hours a week trying to provide for my family.
You know, I messed up and you can't just blame it all on me.
This is insane. Despite all of this, Mrs. Chappelle is taking absolutely no responsibility for her behavior. No accountability, nothing. The DNA test has to quickly put Mr. Chappelle out of his misery right now.
Mr. Chappelle, you are not her biological father.
What'd you do this for?
I'm so sorry. I really am.
I'm still gonna be there for her.
That's exactly what this court wanted to hear.
Delete them pictures off Facebook. Take my kids off Facebook. We don't want nothing to do with you because when I found out about my brothers and you denied my brothers to me, I don't have the money right now. Can you just wait? I could have waited. I already waited a year before my van got fixed and it's broke down again. Can you help me now?
In this case, the plaintiff, Mr. Calhoun, claimed that his girlfriend, Ms. Prout, tricked him into believing he was the father of her child. After finding evidence that she had been sleeping with other men, he claimed that the DNA results would show that he was not the father. He opened his case like this.
Mr. Calhoun, you say the defendant tried to trick you into believing you are her daughter Amaya's biological father. But after uncovering evidence that she slept with other men, you are positive the DNA will prove you are not. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Prout, you claim that you are positive that Mr. Calhoun is Amaya's father. Only reason he is denying...
It seems that Mr. Calhoun was not ready to have a romantic relationship with the defendant. Even after he made it clear he did not want a relationship, they continued to kick it in in bed, and after some time, Ms. Prout found out she was pregnant.
You still continued to have sex with him after he made it clear he didn't want to be in a relationship?
Correct, Your Honor, I did.
And at some point you found out you pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. Me and a family member of his, we went to the store. I bought a pregnancy test, went back to his house, took the test. It was positive. The lines were fainted. The next day I told him and showed him the test, but we were both in disbelief.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Wow. Mr. Calhoun really didn't want anything serious with Ms. Prout. Blocking her on all social media is just very extreme. Mr. Calhoun told the judge that he believed she had taken fertility pills to get pregnant just because she wanted to be with him, but Ms. Prout claimed it was a lie by saying,
she called me and said that she had took fertility medicine to get pregnant by me, and she got exactly what she wanted out of me.
That's a bunch of bull.
Oh, did you say that, Ms. Prout?
No, Your Honor, that was not what was said. I did not take any fertility pills. Once I found out I was pregnant, let me tell you how crazy. This is the crazy part. I did not believe I was pregnant. I went to about 4 or 5 different emergency rooms.
I mean, they were not using protection while kicking it in bed, so why doesn't she believe she is pregnant? Now, Ms. Prout had her calendar, showing the window of conception, which placed Mr. Calhoun as the father of the baby. When asked if he agreed with the dates, he said this.
When you look at that window of conception, Mr. Calhoun, do you have any issue
yes, ma'am.
with the date?
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't believe you were intimate on
there's
July
no issue with the dates, but I'm saying I feel like I have reason to believe that she was intimate with other dudes besides me during those dates.
Really?
How do you have reason to believe that?
I have reason to believe that after a conversation that me and Miss Prout had on the phone, she told me.
Now, it all makes sense. Mr. Calhoun was not the only man she was sleeping with at the time. Funny enough, Ms. Prout did not deny messing with another man. She claimed that she did sleep with someone else, but cut ties with the person before the window of conception.
I was having sex with someone, but this was way before these 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks prior I had stopped messing with somebody else because I knew I was going to run into him at the parties. At the end of the day, he really denied my baby because he on child support. Period. Points. That's it.
It has no.
We've been back and forth. One minute I'm the daddy, I'm happy, whoop-de-whoop blam. Then the next minute I'm not the daddy when you get hit with them papers.
Now, why would she lie about the hospital not being able to perform a DNA test? What could she possibly be hiding? Mr. Calhoun told the judge that even though he had signed the birth certificate, he still had doubts about the paternity of the child. These were some of his doubts.
My doubts come from, I'm walking to the store. I get to the store, I run into 2 neighborhood partners that I knew growing up, and they like, you got a baby by Miss Prout? And I'm like, yeah, supposedly. She says her little girl is mine. And they tell me, that's crazy because she said she had a baby by me before. And when I asked her to produce the paperwork and produce the pregnancy test, it was...
Oh boy, that has to sting. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes after hearing something like that. Now, here's the crazy thing. He was not just talking. He had evidence to prove that what he was saying was true.
From Mr. Calhoun, why you posting this pic if you said I was the father? From Kia, Miss Prout, you a dumb blank. You signed the birth certificate knowing you ain't the father, and then you changed her last name while I was still drugged up.
I posted it, Your Honor. Yeah.
You a dumb blank.
Yeah, I
And the only thing
But now you standing here saying you the father. I don't know why you denying it.
After saying and posting that conversation on Facebook, I don't believe a word coming out of her mouth. Now, there was a witness in the courtroom, and she happened to be Ms. Prout's godsister. She claimed she had more details about how things really went down in their relationship.
My godsister was having unprotected sex with another man. Also, before he came into the picture, myself and also other members felt that my godsister was already pregnant because of her demeanor. Her
what do you mean?
Her mood changed. She was very moody. So when he did come into the picture, they had unprotected sex, of course. A week later, she took a pregnancy test.
Wow. Now, that has to be one hell of a revelation. Anyway, there is only one way to find out the truth, and that is to reveal the DNA test. Without wasting any time, the judge revealed the results, and this was her verdict.
Mr. Calhoun, you are the father.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy.
Why are you so upset, Miss Prout?
Y'all don't know what I've been through with this man. Like, this whole beef thing, I can't co-parent like that. Either we gonna co-parent the right way or it's just not gonna happen and we can go to court and figure it out like that.
Mr. Brown says he found a sex tape of his wife with another man, and now he's saying that he is 100% certain he isn't the father of her 11-month-old child, Amira. Ms. McKinney, who is also pregnant, is screaming that that's a lie and that Mr. Brown must step up as he is definitely Amira's dad. She began her case like this.
He's denying the fact that that's his daughter, and it's not about looks, it's about DNA. And I'm here today to prove and show that he is the father of Amira Brown. Brown.
And I can see that you are really hurting right now. I can see the tears. What are you feeling, Miss McKinney? Oh my goodness, she's just gorgeous. What are you feeling?
I just hope that he's the father of Amira Brown.
Well, we'll see about that. Mr. Brown, on the other hand, is confident that the DNA test results will be negative. He also thinks that the man who starred in that video with his wife may be the child's father.
Because when she was born, she did not look like me. And I waited, I gave it time to see how she would look, and more every day that I look and take pictures with Amira, she has his face, and it bothers me a lot.
You feel Amira looks like the man you saw on the sex tape with your wife?
Yes, I do. More and more every day, I see Amira's face and his face, and it bothers me a lot.
Wait, did Mr. Brown just accuse his wife of incest? That's wild. But how did he even get this tape that caused all of this? And how did Ms. McKinney and this man act out such a tape?
One day, the girls, they like snatching her phone, so they grabbed her phone. Before they could even get into the video, I grabbed it, and it pressed play, and I seen the beginning of the video, and I didn't see what I liked, so I just disclosed it. I didn't watch the whole video.
The video came up, or you went looking to see what was in her phone?
They were scrolling through her pictures, whatever, and before they could even get to it, I grabbed the phone.
Oh, because you knew it was something inappropriate.
Yeah, it didn't look right. It didn't look right. It looked like a video, so.
Sheesh, 10 times? Gosh, things are starting to look insane. And the man who's on the tape is in court today, and he doesn't mince words at all. It's straight to the point with this guy.
Well, when I first met Miss McKinley, we was talking on the dating site, and the day I met her, Mr. Brown was present, but they wasn't together. But I seen them face to face.
Oh, the day you met her in person?
Yes.
He was there?
Yes.
So how did the sexual relationship start with Miss McKinney?
Me and Miss McKinney been having sex the whole 2016.
You say you're in a year-long affair.
I met Miss McKinley.
I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like just 10 times. The real number is probably double that, at the very least. Anyway, Ms. McKinney got pregnant, and here is what she told everyone.
And she's ready to give birth.
So who did she say the father was?
She didn't tell me
I said it was complicated.
I believe it was complicated because, like I said,
I was back and forth with him and him.
That sex
back
tape
and forth.
was April 9th, and Amira was born April 9th.
Did that math add up?
No.
No, that math didn't add up at all. So Ms. McKinney was acting out a tape on the day she gave birth. What? Really? At 9 months pregnant? That's wild. The funny thing is that before Ms. McKinney gave birth, Mr. Brown already knew that something fishy was going on. Here is how he puts it.
And then when you found out, did you say, oh, I'm so excited, or did you say, is this my child?
First, I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited. And then when we went to the hospital back in September, they would say she was 11 weeks pregnant. And then when they told her the due date.
It was 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks. And then they told her the due date, whatever. When we went back again, they was like April 23rd. And I'm like, April 23rd? Okay, cool.
Okay, Mr. Spidey senses. You felt something you wanted right and decided to do something about it. Mr. Brown was present at the birth and made sure not to sign for the birth certificate, even though he was legally married to Ms. McKinney. Once he saw the baby, he thought something was wrong.
I said, hey, when I was born, I was pale. But wait, look at her lip. Why does her lip look so fat? That's not my lip. My lip does not look like that. Oh, no, it does not. So from that time in, I put it in my head, I'm like, wait, okay, if she's not mine, then she gotta be Mr. Jonathan's child, because she started looking more and more like him. And then you had people inboxing her saying, oh, that's not your husband's baby.
Your Honor.
It doesn't look like
Your Honor.
him.
Wow, you can clearly see why Mr. Brown feels so strongly that this child isn't his. He has done a full scientific study on this stuff. He knows it in his heart, and there's nothing anyone can do to change his mind. And now, to blow your mind. Guess what?
And not only that, she's pregnant with my child now, so it's like
you said now you're having another baby?
Yeah. I may be the father, right?
No, that's my child.
But let me ask you, could you be the father?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So, do you believe you are Amira's father?
No, I do not.
When's the last time you were intimate with Miss McKinney?
2017 of April.
That's a whole year before Amira was born.
Right.
Oh, so it's scientifically improbable that this other fellow is the father. Does that mean that Mr. Brown could end up being the father after everything? That would be crazy. Let's see what the DNA test has to say about this.
Mr. Fowler, you are not the father.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
He's not the father, Mr. Brown.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father. Miss McKinney, are you okay?
Two guys, Mr. Henry and Mr. Medley, and a lady, Ms. Johnson, claimed that the defendant, Mr. Medley Sr., was their biological father, and for some reason he refused to be in their lives. It was one of the most ridiculous cases to ever appear in paternity court. This was how the entire case began in the courtroom.
3 different adults with 2 different mothers brought the same defendant to court today in an effort to prove paternity. Mr. Heron and Mr. Medley, you are here to prove to Mr. Medley Sr. that you are indeed his son.
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
say results of today's DNA test will force him to stop denying you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, the judge began by asking the 2 guys how their lives have been without a father figure. The first guy, Mr. Heron, took the floor and told the judge that it affected him in ways he could not imagine. He wanted to know why Mr. Medley Sr. decided to be absent from his life.
It affected me in life. Want to know why he wasn't in my life? Why would you give me your full name as a junior? Why would you sign my birth certificate if you deny me as your child? It hurts me like all get out.
So, Mr. Medley Sr., you submitted a whole list of doubts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
When I met her when I was playing in a band, which was about maybe 3 blocks from where she lived.
That explains why he doesn't believe the kids are his. Mr. Medley Sr. told the judge that when he found out Mr. Heron's mother was pregnant, so he decided to marry her even though he had doubts about the pregnancy.
Do the right thing, make her an honorable woman.
So, basically, you married her even though you had doubts.
Yes.
And then you also claim you heard from another band member.
Yes. I went to audition for a band.
Yes.
The trumpet player was acting kind of strange, like he didn't want me, and I knew everything went well. And as I was leaving, packing the kids up, he came to me and he said,
Wow, that's proof enough to make him doubt the paternity even more. The boys went on to tell the judge that Mr. Medley Sr.'s mother always treated them like they were her grandkids. Even with all the denying that Mr. Medley Sr. was doing, she told them that he was their father.
No matter what your daddy say, you guys are always going to be my grandkid. And that hurts me so much to hear this man sit here in this courtroom and lie to you like that. Look at me. Do our door not look like you? Honestly. Spitting image, 100%. And you gonna sit up here and say that I'm not your son?
I don't know.
How you not know, man? You looking at yourself right here.
Not the way I see.
One thing is for sure, though, these kids are very upset with Mr. Medley Sr. They felt betrayed that he did not want to be in their lives. Seeing that the kids were hurt, the judge decided to reveal the DNA test results regarding the 2 boys. This was her verdict.
You are the father. To the results for Victor Medley Jr. You are the father. So now you know.
Yes, I do.
Do you have anything to say to your sons?
Well, I'm glad that the truth has come out, and I'm glad that they are.
Well, Mr. Medley Sr. can't deny the boys any longer. They are both his kids. Moving on, Judge Lauren turned to the lady, Ms. Johnson, who also felt Mr. Medley Sr. was her father, and asked her about her childhood without a father. This was her response.
I grew up in and out of foster care, but I had asked my mom, one day I was looking in my mirror when I was a teenager and I didn't look like her anymore. And I'm like, I don't know who I'm looking at. The stranger that I'm looking at in the mirror, I need to know. So I was like, Mom, this is enough. I just need to know what's the name of my dad. So she told me his name was Victor Medley, but you are not to contact him while you are in my house.
That has to be heartbreaking for Ms. Johnson. Hearing that shocking revelation from her mom, Ms. Johnson decided to go on a hunt to find out who Mr. Medley Sr. was. She found him on Facebook and decided to send him a message informing him of what her mother told her.
You know, I had a conversation with my mom, and my mom told me that you are my dad. He said, oh, really? First I told him my mom's name, and I asked him, did he know her? He said yes. When I told him that he was my dad, he was like, oh, really? Oh, my daughter, can you please send me your number and I'll give you a call? He was happy. So this was the first time I've ever heard about him denying me, because to me, he never denied me.
Could Mr. Medley Sr. be trying to change his story? Because it sure looks like he has a new story to tell. After Ms. Johnson was done giving her statement, Mr. Medley Sr. told the judge that she was the one who requested to get a DNA test done, and he had never denied the fact that she was his daughter.
Get to the point.
Child support
Get to the point.
Child support took the check. I didn't have the money, so I didn't have it, and I'm not rich. And then she told me that she had been lied to before. Everybody lies. Take her off, lose her
Your
number,
Honor,
take her off my Facebook, take the kids off Facebook.
That's not how I remember it. That's
how I remember.
No,
How do you
I'm gonna
remember
tell you,
it, ma'am?
I'm going to tell you how it went. It went like this. I asked you.
Ms. Johnson is pissed. All right. Anyway, after going back and forth with each other, Judge Lauren decided it was time to reveal the results and determine if Ms. Johnson was really Mr. Medley Sr.'s daughter.
Mr. Medley Sr., you are not her father.
Okay.
Mr. Medley, what are you feeling now?
I don't know. I thought she was my daughter.
From the expression on his face, you could tell he was furious as hell. Mr. Streety claimed that he was furious when he found out that his ex-girlfriend had cheated on him with a man who worked at a haunted house. He was in court with the hopes of getting his name removed from the child's birth certificate.
Mr. Streety, you say you got spooked when you found out that your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Johnson, cheated with a man she worked with at a haunted house. You have dragged the defendant into court today to prove that you are not her 13-month-old son, Zeandre's father, so you can remove your name from the birth certificate.
Mr. Streety claims he was trying to do the right thing, and that is why he signed the certificate. Apparently, he signed the birth certificate for her other children, knowing fully that he was not the father. When the judge asked him why he did, he claimed he was foolish.
Show you that.
Wait, I want to be clear. You signed the birth certificate for a child you knew wasn't yours.
Yes, Your Honor. I know how foolish that.
And now Zeandre, you question if he's yours, and you signed his birth certificate too.
Yes, ma'am.
So how many children do you have between the two of you?
One.
You just have one?
Allegedly.
The other one you're on the birth certificate, but you're not the biological father, but you have 2 other children besides that.
Moving on, the judge then asked him why he had doubts about the child he had with the defendant, Ms. Johnson. He told the judge he had an exhibit that would explain why he had doubt. When he approached the exhibit, this was the explanation he gave.
Moved in together in or around April. This is her parents' house. This is one of their properties, okay? All of her bills automatically my responsibilities.
No, they weren't.
Hold
He
your
got
thoughts.
his name.
Hold your thoughts. Thank you. Here we go. We're moving through here. After a midst of all of that going on, I'm getting tired of being accused of things that I'm not doing, so I move out.
Wow! Now that is some serious evidence right there. Judge Lauren then asked her if she could recall the events Mr. Streety was talking about. Guess what? She could! She claimed she recalled every single thing, but it all happened in a different month.
Do you remember those instances?
I do.
Do you remember the man you were driving with?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
were with another man?
I was, but all that took place in October. I didn't meet the guy until October.
No. She tells me that, Your Honor, and as far as she's concerned, she's gonna tell me that.
And
all
so,
right?
Mr.
As far as I'm concerned,
Streety, I just want to make sure. Now, how do you know it's August? You just remember that was the date?
No.
Ms. Johnson has a lot of explaining to do, that's for sure. In trying to defend herself, Ms. Johnson claimed that she was not getting enough attention from Mr. Streety. She told the judge that he was always going to see his ex and her child, and that upset her.
Are you done with your
Yes,
exhibit,
ma'am.
sir? Yes, please step back to the podium.
He made beats, or he would help record songs with other people without a fee.
Oh, I thought you meant he was freelancing with other women.
I mean, his ex, of course. Like, he would leave my house just to see his ex and their child. And they would spend time together. They
Your
had
Honor.
pictures all on
Your Honor.
Facebook.
Well, you have to agree with Judge Lauren on that one. After yapping about, the judge then asked Ms. Johnson to tell her side of the story. She started by saying that Mr. Streety had the dates mixed up, and that's why he thinks he is not the father of her child.
So I'll say in July, that's when I got pregnant. And this right here, all this happened in October.
So you saying he got the dates all mixed up?
He does.
And you're saying that when he saw you with the other man driving around, you were already pregnant?
Yes, I was. I was already pregnant.
Were you sleeping with the other man?
I met this guy in October at the haunted house.
One thing about these two is that they love to argue. Jeez. Now, when Ms. Johnson found out she was pregnant, she claimed and told Mr. Streety. Trying to explain how she told him, Mr. Streety jumped in and told the judge how everything really happened.
we just laying there, and she's like, yo, as a matter of fact, I asked her, have you been with somebody else? She's always been honest. She said yes. I said, well, have y'all been sleeping together? Yeah. Oh, so it just only happened one time? No, it's been 2 or 3 times. I'm like, where'd y'all sleep together?
October.
Where'd y'all sleep together at? Right here is where?
Nowhere.
The same bed that me and her been laying in.
After October.
Are you kidding me?
And when I told him I cheated, that's when he decided he wanted to come back around and...
Looks like Ms. Johnson is not happy about the fact that Mr. Streety is no longer willing to step up for her and her kids. Even though she got emotional about the whole situation, Mr. Streety was still firm on the fact that he didn't believe he was the father of the child.
Point, all the times that I feel like that you might have felt like that before, you might have been doing that before too. You don't say stuff like that to a person, and when they get insecure about what you said, you get mad at them because they insecure.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Why did you sign Zeandre's birth certificate?
Your Honor, I was already there for the other 3. I ain't taking nothing from Ms. Johnson, but I already know what she dealing with.
Let's just say that cheating was not the only reason he had doubts. The moment we've been waiting for is here, and it's time we find out who the biological father of the child really is. Here are the results.
Mr. Streety, you are the father.
I told you.
How do you feel now, Mr. Streety, now that you know for certain?
That just shows right there that she did have somewhat of some kind of respect for me. You know what I'm saying? She never been unsure. I always been unsure.
I believe you doubt it. You know, some men come in here, I feel like they ain't got doubt. They just don't want the responsibility.
Yep.
My brother was
Excuse me, did I ever tell you that?
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. I remember the first day. Ever.
I remember the first 4 years
All I
old.
said is your father is dead. That's all I said, and I left it at that.
And then he went to the store to get him some milk and some Pampers, and he got killed. That was a lie, too.
So this guy named Dustin Hoyer had been searching for his dad for years, only to find out the man he thought was his dad, James Horn, had tragically passed away. And to make matters worse, Dustin claimed James's family had rejected him.
Mr. Hoyer, after 14 years of being in foster care, you desperately searched for your father. Sadly, that search ended when you learned that your alleged father, Mr. James Horn, was tragically killed. To make matters worse, you claim his family rejected you, and so you're here today to prove to them that you are indeed his son and finally have a family.
Yes, Your Honor.
But things really took a turn when James's sister, Sim Porter, and his mother, Miss Horn, showed up. They were adamant that Dustin wasn't actually related to their family at all. Apparently, before James died, he had explicitly said he had no kids.
Miss Porter, you and your mother, Miss Horn, who's joining us from her hometown, are adamant that Mr. Hoyer is not biologically part of your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim that before Mr. Horn passed away, he clearly stated that he had no children, and you believe today's DNA results will prove him right.
Dustin opened up about his tough childhood, bouncing around the foster care system for 14 years before getting adopted at 14. He never even learned basic life skills like shaving or tying a tie because he grew up without a father figure. Aw, man, that's rough. No wonder he's so desperate to find his real dad and have a family.
So, Mr. Hoyer, please share, what was it like growing up without a father?
Your Honor, it was like hell growing up without a father. I was taken away when I was 3 and 9. I was in foster care for 14 years. Got adopted when I was 14. Never got to learn how to shave. Never got to learn how to tie a tie. I don't know who my father is because my mom used to be a stripper.
But the Horns aren't having it. Miss Porter claimed her brother never once mentioned having a kid, even though they were super close. And when Dustin first showed up at their door, they straight up told him to get lost. They weren't buying it. Miss Horn even said she was just going off what her son told her, that he had no kids.
And he said, I want you to see him. See, is this your grandson? And hear the word I said. I said no, because I hadn't heard it before. Because before my son left me, he said he didn't have any kids. And I'm going by what he said.
Had your son ever mentioned Mr. Hoyer or Miss Gentry?
No, ma'am.
Things really started to heat up when Miss Gentry revealed that she and James had actually been in a secret relationship, and that James had even seen Dustin once as a baby. Miss Porter angrily accused Miss Gentry of lying, saying she only showed up 2 weeks after James's funeral, claiming he was the dad.
My parents, they never accepted biracial relationships, never. So we kept it a secret. We were really in love.
Had you planned to marry?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Did he feel like it would be an issue with his family?
Somewhat.
So, Miss Porter, do you feel like it would have been an issue?
No.
The judge tried to calm things down, but Miss Horn and Miss Gentry just kept going at it. Miss Horn insisted there was no way Dustin could be her grandson, while Miss Gentry fired back that the Horns had always rejected their interracial relationship. Talk about some deep-seated family drama. This was a sore spot that had been festering for years.
When you had your son, was Mr. Horn there? Was he involved with your son?
Yes, Mr. Horn seen my son one time. I left out of the relationship because I had all this controversy with my family. All right? Me and my baby.
Well, because when he was born, the secret was out at that point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When the judge showed the photos comparing Dustin and James, there was a glimmer of hope. Dustin said he could see the resemblance, especially in the smile and features, but the Horns just weren't convinced. Miss Porter was adamant that Dustin didn't look anything like her brother.
And so you said there is another gentleman, so where was he and why didn't you reach out to him?
I think he was locked up and I left it alone.
Your Honor, it's sad this young man got to hear what we got to say, but when she told him anything about my brother, it was awful. She told him he was a crackhead. She told him he was a drunk. She told him he wasn't no good.
Then the Horns started really laying into Miss Gentry. accusing her of all kinds of terrible things. They claimed she had told Dustin his dad was a crackhead and a drunk, and that they had shunned her when she first showed up, claiming Dustin was their kin. Miss Gentry tried to defend herself, but the Horns were having none of it. Yikes, this was getting ugly fast.
Do you have any regrets that day for turning her away and saying this couldn't possibly be your son's child?
He didn't have no kid. And the Undertaker man come to my house too and said, we can't find no evidence of his having no kid.
And so your belief is, I just believe in what my son told me?
Yes, ma'am.
Finally, it was time for the big reveal. The DNA results were in, and the judge delivered the news. Is James Horn Dustin's long-lost dad, or is this mystery far from over? Let's find out, folks.
That Mr. Horn is not likely your biological father.
See, son, you shouldn't have done this.
No, you shouldn't have done this.
You should have been honest with me from the get-go.
Ms. Gentry, I know you did not just tell him what he should not have done.
All right, folks, get ready for some juicy drama. Today, we're diving into a paternity court episode that's got all the makings of a soap opera. A woman torn between two men, a baby with a questionable paternity, and a whole lot of tension. Let's see how this one plays out, shall we?
Ms. Moody, you have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Raylan. You hope these results will save your family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brackens, you say the plaintiff admitted to sleeping with another man, and your doubt is overwhelming. But if the DNA results shock you, you'd consider staying together. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Moody is desperate to prove that Brackens is the father of her little girl, Raylan. She's got a lot riding on these DNA results, and you can see the worry etched all over her face. Meanwhile, Brackens is clearly struggling with some serious doubts. He's been there for Raylan since day one, but the thought that she might not be his is eating him up inside.
That Raylan is his daughter.
Mr. Brackens, this is destroying your relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so tell me about that. How is it affecting your relationship?
I look at this little girl every day, Your Honor, and I've been there for her since day one. I was there cutting the umbilical cord and everything, and I broke my back, Your Honor. I built a foundation, and this means the world to me.
Turns out Miss Moody had a little fling on the side while Brackens was away. She admits to sleeping with another man for a few months, and that's where all the drama starts. Brackens is understandably upset, but he's willing to stick around if the DNA test proves Raylan is his.
I can't tell no lies. I can't say I was perfect because I wasn't. I was still doing my own thing. Regardless that I had these strong feelings for him, he wasn't here, and I was lonely. I needed affection. I needed attention, physical affection and attention, not just a message that I'm receiving from somebody. I looked elsewhere for that.
So, you slept with someone else?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
As the judge digs deeper, we learn that the other guy is actually someone Brackens knows from the neighborhood. Yikes, talk about a tangled web. Brackens is clearly not thrilled about the idea of this other guy being Raylan's dad, and you can see the protective instinct kicking in. He's not about to let some random dude waltz in and claim his little girl.
I continued to entertain this other man for several weeks.
Mr. Brackens, did you have any idea this was going on?
Your Honor, the whole time I was away, it felt like we were in a committed relationship. It felt like we was one-on-one together the whole time we were together. And I come back home and it was someone else and...
Oh!
Yeah.
Miss Moody is a wreck, begging the judge to just let her prove that Brackens is the father. She's so convinced that Raylan is his, and you can tell she's desperate to save her family. Brackens, on the other hand, is trying to stay calm, but the doubt is written all over his face. He's been through this before, and he's not about to let his heart get broken again.
Your Honor, I need to prove to him today because Mr. Brackens has been through this before and he's had his heart crushed. And I know, I have confidence so much that she is his. I know she is. To me and so many other people, she looks just like him to me. And I hope it's not my feelings, my emotions getting in the way of that.
The tension in the courtroom is palpable as the judge prepares to reveal the DNA results. You can practically feel the anticipation in the air. Both Moody and Brackens are on the edge of their seats, waiting with bated breath to find out the truth. This is the moment of truth, folks, and you can bet it's gonna be a doozy.
Mr. Brackens, you are her father. How does it feel, Mr. Brackens, to look at your beautiful little girl with no doubt in your mind, not another thought?
It's amazing, Your Honor.
This paternity court episode was wild from the start. We've got a woman, Ms. Schwartz, trying to prove that her side piece, Mr. Hatton, is the father of her 9-month-old daughter, Asselin. But Mr. Hatton is convinced that Ms. Schwartz's husband, Mr. Schwartz, is the real dad.
Ms. Schwartz, you opened your case to prove to the defendant that he fathered your 9-month-old child, Asselin.
Yes.
You understand his doubt, but state he is her father. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Hatton, you claim you are not Asselin's dad and are certain that her biological father is another man. And that man is the plaintiff's husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
It gets even juicier when Mr. Hatton reveals that he thinks Miss Schwartz is a reckless woman who jumps from one man to the next. He even accuses her of calling her husband to complain about him while she's in bed with Mr. Hatton.
I mean, Your Honor, I don't believe I'm the dad. I do question the way that she lives her life. It's reckless.
Reckless?
Yes. You can't just be in a relationship with a dude, have an argument, run out the door, jump into bed with the next man. That's how I feel.
But then the plot thickens even more when Mr. Schwartz, the husband, is brought into the courtroom. He drops a bombshell, admitting that he knows his wife has been cheating on him with multiple men, including Mr. Hatton. He even says he drove his wife to Mr. Hatton's place at one point. It's like a twisted love triangle gone wrong.
You didn't contest it?
And put her baby daddy on the birth certificate.
You didn't contest it? You weren't willing to go to the child support office,
Then she wants me to play daddy. She wants me to play daddy.
Wait, let's get this clear. So, Miss Schwartz, you gave Asselin Mr. Hatton's last name.
And he didn't contest it?
The judge tries to bring the focus back to the child, Asselin, but the parents just can't seem to let go of their personal drama. Ms. Schwartz even confesses to the polygraph test that she's been sexually involved with someone other than Mr. Hatton since their relationship began.
You have concerns?
Oh, I got a lot of concerns, like dating sites, her emails coming to my phone. And she had the audacity, the nerve to look at me when I asked her about it. She said, oh, that's just karma looking you in the face.
Yep.
What's that even mean? That don't even make no sense.
It wasn't no down low.
Oh, wait, how did you even find out she was on a dating site?
Because her email was linked to my phone.
The judge is clearly fed up with the whole situation, but she's determined to get to the bottom of Asselin's paternity. We've heard all that we need to hear, and now it's time for the truth. When the DNA results are finally revealed, it's a bombshell. We've got a classic case of baby daddy drama on our hands.
The biological father is Mr. Hatton. She is your daughter, Mr. Hatton.
And I thank you, Your Honor. I didn't get to be in my first set of kids' lives.
I wonder why. So now you want to play daddy to her?
Mr. Kidd here is convinced that little Nathaniel is his son, but Ms. Rawlings is telling a different story. Looks like she's got her eyes on a new guy, and poor Mr. Kidd is getting the boot. This is gonna be good.
Ms. Rawlings, you say Mr. Kidd is fully aware he is not Nathaniel's father, as he himself told you he cannot have children. You say Mr. Rawlings and his mother are two desperate people who convinced themselves Mr. Kidd is your son's father, and you intend to prove them wrong today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's break this down. Mr. Kidd claims that Ms. Rawlings told him he was the father, and he's got the letters to prove it. But Ms. Rawlings is saying that's not the case. She never actually told him he was the dad. Sounds like a classic case of miscommunication to me. These two have been playing a little game of cat and mouse, and it's about to get real messy.
Okay, how it happened was we met through a mutual friend, and I didn't know anything about Mr. Kidd starting off. My mutual friend ended up leaving, and the situation that I was in, I didn't have anywhere to go. And that's how me and Mr. Kidd ended up.
Now, Ms. Rawlings is saying that she was staying with Mr. Kidd for a while, but she was also seeing another guy on the side. Ooh, spicy. Looks like she was keeping her options open, and poor Mr. Kidd got caught in the crossfire. And get this, the other guy actually thinks Nathaniel might be his kid too.
Prevent her from having future children, or that child could pass away.
Okay, so Mr. Kidd, did you ever tell Ms. Rawlings you didn't believe you could have children?
Yes, ma'am. I informed her of the situation because I'm typically in a long-term relationship. I've never had any kind of hiccups, any thinking that they might be pregnant, any slip-ups. No.
You've never gotten anyone pregnant?
No, ma'am.
But wait, there's more. Mr. Kid's mom, Ms. Jenkins, is convinced that Nathaniel is her grandchild. She's got the pictures to prove it, and she's been spending time with the little guy. Looks like she's already got a special bond with him. Somebody's not telling the whole truth here.
So I contacted his friend who gave me Miss Rawlings' number. I called her and asked, we talked for a couple weeks, and I asked if I could see the baby, and she said yes. We were at a park. He was in a car or a stroller, and I said hey to her. I said, but you know what I'm here for, and I went straight to the baby. Picked him up, had said, hey, Sugarfoot, and he smiled, and we played, and it was honestly the best day of my life.
And then the plot thickens even more. Mr. Kidd says he has a rare blood condition that could put Ms. Rawlings and the baby at risk if he got her pregnant. But the doctor is saying that's not necessarily the case. Looks like Mr. Kidd might have been trying to pull a fast one on Ms. Rawlings. Tisk, buddy, you can't fool the court.
Miss Rawlings, you began to let Ms. Jenkins have visitation with the baby.
Me being me as a mother, and I wasn't able to grow up with my father. If Mr. Kidd can't see the moments that he's missing, at least his mom will be able to have them, and his family has some stories to tell.
Now, Ms. Rawlings is saying that she actually gave Nathaniel to Ms. Jenkins for a while because she was going through some tough times. Wow, talk about a roller coaster. These two have been through it all, and it's not over yet. The judge is trying to get to the bottom of this, but it's like a tangled web of lies and deceit.
Because of the fact that I had got a job that was paying $10 an hour, and I didn't have anybody to watch him. And at the same time, trying to figure out who's going to watch my child, and me not knowing how I'm going to be able to feed my child, how he's going to take his bath. I chose it to where...
Looks like things are about to get heated. Ms. Jenkins is getting a little emotional, and Mr. Kidd is trying to defend himself. The judge is trying to keep the peace, but you can tell this is about to blow up. I bet the bailiff is on high alert just in case things get a little too intense in here.
In your paperwork that suggested you had another medical issue which would prevent you from impregnating Ms. Rawlings. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, the court wanted to get down to the bottom of this particular situation because we were very concerned about this information and wanted to be accurate.
It's the moment of truth. The judge is about to reveal the paternity test results, and the tension in the room is palpable. Everyone's holding their breath, waiting to see if Mr. Kidd is really the father. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, folks.
Mr. Kidd, you are the father. You are the father.
Thank you.
And at least I am happy because me and him, we don't have a hate-type relationship, and that I knew he's a good man at heart and he has a good heart.
We've got a classic family feud brewing between Miss McBirth and Miss Jackson. And let me tell you, the gloves were off from the very beginning. These two ladies came out swinging, and it was clear they had some serious beef with each other.
Now, Ms. Jackson, you say Ms. McBirth has been poisoning her son by convincing him he's not the biological father of your child. You claim the timing does add up, and today's paternity test will prove you right. So, Ms. McBirth, why do you believe your son's not the father?
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's.
Right off the bat, Miss McBirth lays it all out there, calling Miss Jackson trash, trouble, and trifling. Ouch. She's got some strong opinions about this woman, and she's not afraid to let the world know. That baby's white as snow. There's no way it's my grandchild, she declares, and you can just feel the disdain dripping from her words.
Force it. Yeah, you have. Don't sit up and act like you haven't.
But the thing about her,
she's trying to push that baby on. That ain't mine. I didn't sleep with her. That child is not ours.
When you say she's trying to push the baby on you, what do you mean?
She wants me to acknowledge that child is my son's. That's not gonna happen.
No, I think she's more so obsessed.
But Miss Jackson ain't having it. Oh no. She fires back, saying the baby's got powder puff all over him, and there's no chocolate to be found. Yikes. These two are really going at it, and the judge is just sitting there, trying to keep things under control. You can tell she's seen her fair share of crazy courtroom antics, but this one might just take the cake.
We've been trying to change the name a couple weeks ago. Even we talked about it.
He's 2 years.
My son ain't said
his
no lie
name's
like
not even
that.
on the
Stop
birth
lying.
certificate.
Stop lying.
Okay.
Whose name is on the birth certificate?
certificate? Do you know?
Nobody's.
Exactly,
because he went. He was not there when he was born. Exactly, I could put anybody on there, but I didn't. Exactly.
And then it gets even messier when Miss McBirth starts accusing Miss Jackson of being a side chick to her son, Mr. Hughes. Apparently, he's been in a relationship with another woman for 10 years, and Miss Jackson was just a little snack on the side. Ooh, it's heating up, y'all.
Miss McBirth, I have to ask you, you're very tough on Miss Jackson. Do you have anything to say about your son's behavior?
My son has, I know exactly what type of person he is. He just as trifling as she is. He's a handsome guy. He's my son. And I know what he do. But he's still, no matter what he do, he's still gonna be my son.
But Mr. Hughes steps up to the plate, and he's not having any of it. He straight up tells the court that the baby ain't his, and he's not gonna acknowledge it as his son. Miss McBirth is backing him up, saying the baby looks nothing like their family, and she's just not having it.
Maybe. That's my point. Mr. Hughes, what is your side of this? Please stand, sir. Step up to the podium. Do you believe you are Elijah's father?
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm biracial. My father's white, you know. My father's a brown-haired, blue-eyed dude, so.
How you know? He just gonna say that because, you know, she gonna freak him after this.
Yeah.
Things start to get a little heated when Miss Jackson tries to defend herself, but Miss McBirth is having none of it. She's accusing Miss Jackson of all kinds of wild stuff, like having a sex party that got shut down by the police. The judge has to step in and try to restore some order, but these two ladies are not backing down.
So, hold on. Were you having your son Elijah call someone else daddy?
No, ma'am. It's when he sees somebody light-skinned, when my son sees somebody, because he's not, I mean, he's around, but he's not there every day and all day, you know. So when my son sees like a tall, light-skinned guy with a hat on, he's like, Daddy, and I'm like,
no, that man was black. That man was black as my mom. You're a liar.
And then the moment of truth arrives. The DNA results are in, and the judge is about to reveal them. You can feel the tension in the room as everyone holds their breath, waiting to find out the truth. Miss McBirth is convinced it's not her son's baby, but the judge is about to drop a bombshell.
Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
No! That's a lie! That's a lie! That's a lie! That's a lie! That's not true! You a lying trick! What did you do? I know that's a damn lie. I know that's a damn lie. I'm sick of that. Somebody say that's a lie! That's a lie! That's a lie! That's a lie! That's not true! You a lying trick! What did you do? What did you do?
We can't get rid of Satan to save our lives.
I'm through. I know that's a damn lie. I know that's a damn lie. I'm sick of
My brother was
Excuse me, did I ever tell you that?
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
I remember the first
And I
day.
believe it.
I remember the first day I asked, I was about 4 years old.
All I said is your father is dead. That's all I said, and I left it at that.
He went to the store to get him some milk and some Pampers, and he got killed.
Mr. Hughes is stuck between two crazy moms in court today. One is his own mother and the other is his ex. Ms. McBirth, his mother, is sick and tired of her son having so many babies. For this reason, she's denying her potential grandchild and demands for a paternity test.
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all. Can I show it? Can I?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Oh, look at her go. She really brought a picture of father and baby to court saying that they look nothing alike. Back to the ex-girlfriend, she insists that Ms. McBirth is in denial and is projecting her feelings on the baby's paternity.
So why do you think she's in so much doubt over your child?
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, maybe because he is so white?
Because he's all the white. He ain't got no black in here. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere.
That was a very racist thing to say, Ms. McBirth. Does this woman realize that genes work in the funniest ways? What a thing to say in the courtroom. Sure, she may be tired of her son having children willy-nilly, but that does not give her the right to be mean to her son's baby mama.
Okay, so a little over a year. Were you in a committed relationship?
I thought we was.
You did, okay. And was he the only person you were intimate with during that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Now she knows she lying. She lying.
Yes, ma'am.
This DNA right here has been in our life. She's never was a girlfriend.
Whoa, it seems like we have 3 crazy women in court today. Now, where did all of this even come from? Who is this woman and why is she all up in Ms. Jackson's business? If she says she believes was in a committed relationship with Mr. Hughes, then let the poor woman be.
A side chick.
And it's all she has done is she's been trying to put the baby on us.
Force it. Yeah, you have. Don't sit up and act like you haven't.
But the thing about her,
she's trying to push that baby on. That ain't mine. I didn't sleep with her. That child is not ours.
When you say she's trying to push the baby on you, what do you mean?
She wants me to acknowledge that child.
Now, Ms. Terrell and Ms. McBirth both claim that Ms. Jackson simply wants to throw the baby to their family. They believe that the baby sure as hell isn't theirs. Now, wait a minute. Isn't it suspicious that the supposed father of the baby has not said a word since we started this case? What a family of assertive women.
Tell me about the first time you met Elijah.
I seen him at the doctor's office where I was taking his real children to the doctor, and it was a newborn, and I walked past him, and I kind of glanced over there, and I seen this little white baby. I knew it wasn't mine, and I ain't had nothing else to say or do about it since then.
Whoa. Hold up, hold up. Look how this woman is ready to go head-to-head with Judge Lake. So many things are wrong with everything Ms. McBirth just said. First, his real children? She was taking her son's real children to the hospital? How many kids exactly does this man have? From how many women too? And what? Is he mute?
I'm sick of all these little hookers trying to say my son is the daddy. I'm sick of it. I get babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick of it.
But
it stops today. Because that baby is not my son.
Here's the thing that she does.
It is.
Here's the
Sorry.
thing.
That's a lie.
Yes,
No,
it's
that's a lie. That's a lie.
First of all, she's a liar because you just had a wild sex party that got shut down by the police station last month.
There was a sex party? The police came? What about the baby? Where was the baby while all of this was going down? Also, can someone please tell Ms. McBirth that the babies she'll be picking up would definitely not stop today? Considering that her mute son already has about 1 million kids already.
Miss McBirth, I have to ask you, you're very tough on Miss Jack. Do you have anything to say about your son's behavior?
My son I know exactly what type of person he is. He just as trifling as she is. He's a handsome guy. He's my son. And I know what he do. But he still, no matter what he do,
Of course, we cannot expect Judge Lake to sit still and take all of that from crazy moms. She's sitting up and asking the right questions. Her son has been in the court since the start of the case, and he has not said a word. We have no idea whether he accepts the child or not. Now she's saying the sight of her son being loving to his baby makes her want to throw up.
Do you believe you are Elijah's father?
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm biracial. My father's white, you know.
My son's.
My father's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude, so.
How you know? He just gonna say that because, she's gonna freak him after this.
Yeah.
Accusing your brother of not having...
Oh my goodness, she married a white man? After all of that, she still has the guts to be so racist about her potential grandchild. Considering that his past is biracial, that provides more reason for the baby to look white. What an unreasonable woman Ms. McBirth is proving to be. After all of this bickering, we get to hear the results.
Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
I know that's a damn lie. I know that's a damn lie. I'm sick.
For 14 years, Mr. Hoyer has been on a quest to find his father, only to learn that the man he believes to be his father has already passed away. However, Mrs. Porter and her mother, Mrs. Horn, insist that Mr. Hoyer has no connection to their family. These women are determined to prove it too.
Mr. Hoyer, after 14 years of being in foster care, you desperately searched for your father. Sadly, that search ended when you learned that your alleged father, Mr. James Horn, was tragically killed. Make matters worse, you claim his family rejected you, and so you're here today to prove to them that you are indeed his son.
He really spent 14 years in foster care with zero idea of who his father was. And to make matters worse, when he finally thinks he has found him, he finds out he passed away. Also, the family he believes he finally found wants absolutely nothing to do with him.
So, Mr. Hoyer, please share, what was it like growing up without a father?
Your Honor, it was like hell growing up without a father. I was taken away when I was 3 and 9. I was in foster care for 14 years, got adopted when I was 14. Never got to learn how to shave, never got to learn how to tie a tie. I don't know who my father is because my mom used to be a stripper.
Oh my goodness. So his mother was a stripper, and that's why it was so hard to find his father in the first place. Wow. What a messed up childhood he had. And to make matters worse, apparently, the new boyfriend knew who the father was. Whoa, okay.
So this is a photo of the man you were told is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you look at this picture, do you see yourself?
I do in some ways. I see myself through the smile and through the forehead and the eyebrows.
Miss Porter, all of this time, these years before your brother passed, he never mentioned having a child.
Never.
They do look somewhat alike. But in this court, looks don't mean anything. Only matching DNA. And hold up, the alleged father on his deathbed mentioned he doesn't have any kids. Could this actually be true, or was he just hiding his child?
He went over and asked my alleged uncle about the name, James Horn, and he was like, yes, that's my brother. So my adopted brother came and got me, took me over to his neighbors, and that's how I met him.
What was that encounter like? What happened? Take me step by step.
When I approached the house, I walked into the door.
Whoa, what a case. So that's how he found out this man could possibly be his father? What a mess this all is. Some family members say he could be his kid. Others say there's no chance. All this guy wants to know is who the father is, nothing else.
It was a secret. I didn't even know I was really pregnant until I was 6 months. But like I have told my son, there is another man before this man.
So what you're saying is you were open and honest with your son that you had also been intimate with another man.
Wait a minute. Is Mrs. Gentry saying that she had sexual relations with another man during the time her son was conceived? That means two things. One, she cheated on the man she claims to have been in love with. Two, she's not certain Mr. Horn is her son's father.
When the first time we ever seen her was 2 weeks after the funeral. 2 weeks after my brother was put in the ground, this young lady came and knocked at my mother's door. I have your brother's child. I'm like, that's not my brother's child.
So Miss Porter and her family sent Miss Gentry away with her little boy 20 years ago? That sounds a bit brutal. What if he turns out to be their blood? That's 23 years down the drain just because he didn't look like them. Oh, Ms. Porter. Life doesn't work like that anymore, okay?
Do you feel that there's any possibility that he could be your grandchild?
It could be. I wish it was. I hope so.
You said you do hope photos. Now this first set of photos is Mr. Hoyer at 8 years old and a young picture of Mr. Horn. Do you see a resemblance?
Not really. Not in that one.
Now that Mrs. Porter admits that there's a resemblance between her late brother and Mr. Hoyer, you can tell that they really want him in their family. And maybe, just maybe, the late Mr. Horn lied to them about not having any kids.
That makes me believe that there's someone out there that will accept me. So hopefully I am James Horn's son, because I will actually have a place where I will be able to fit in. I don't like being unwanted fairy tale family.
We can see why he desperately wants the results to come out positive. It's been even more difficult for Mr. Hoyer to fit in because he is biracial. His mom did say she was from a racist family, so maybe she couldn't deal with being the mom of a biracial child.
He won't have to deal with it because he will get what's coming to him.
Why not? I always be his mother.
You might always be the mother, but you're not a mama. A mama. How this woman did his child right here when he could have been at our household. He could have been with us.
That's right, Mrs. Porter. There's a huge difference between giving birth to a child and being that child's mother. And so far so good, Mrs. Gentry has failed terribly at the latter. Let's see what Mrs. Gentry has to say.
You hurting me. You hurting our whole entire family. He don't know nothing about no aunts and uncles,
You need to come up
no
and take it up
grandparents.
again.
He don't know nothing.
Miss Horn, I have to ask you because as you can hear, this is a very passionate... Excuse me, ladies.
Act appropriately.
Let's
Sorry. Please forgive me.
Mrs. Gentry isn't even the least bit apologetic. It seems like she was forced to be in court today and she's not even trying to deny it. Minute after minute, we see how terrible a mother she is. But wait, there's more. The results are in and we are about to get the biggest shock ever.
In the case of Hoyer v. Gentry, Porter, Horn, as it pertains to the likelihood of whether Mr. James Horn is your biological father, the DNA test results have determined that Mr. Horn is not likely your biological father.
Son, you shouldn't have done this.
No, you shouldn't have done this.
Ms. Reinhardt believes that Ms. Crow claims her late son, J.C. Turner, is her baby daddy just so she can get death benefits. However, Ms. Crow says her son Thomas is a result of the love she and J.C. shared while he was alive. Isn't that something?
Miss Crow, you have summoned the defendant to court to prove that her deceased son, J.C. Turner, fathered your 2-year-old son, Thomas. You want Thomas to know who father is, and you say that Ms. Reinhardt has done everything she can to sabotage your efforts. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
One super difficult thing is to get through a case where the alleged father is dead. Now, we don't get to hear his side of the story. Now, all we've got is what his mom knows or what she thinks she knows.
It's more than just the money. I would like help with my son, yes, of course, but my son cannot grow up and meet his father. So he deserves that right to know who his father is and to know who his family is.
And to this point, he doesn't have any real knowledge of his father. You have not...
Take a look at that. It is nice of Ms. Crow to give father and son the opportunity to bond over the phone. But how about the rest of the story? How did JC's mom know nothing about this? Well, there is only one way to find out.
That picture,
I understand.
my son and I had a very tight relationship. And Jay would tell me everything when nobody else was around. I knew my son inside and out. And I just don't, as a mother, as a grandmother, having 4 babies of my own, my gut tells me this is not my grandson. I do not see my son in that.
Looks like it's going to be a tough one because Ms. Reinhardt isn't even on the fence about it. She is totally confident the baby is not her grandchild. But why? How could she possibly be so certain?
We had, became inseparable. We, developed, feelings, and it did happen all too fast. He did ask me to be his girlfriend, and we did have unprotected sex as well. So there's no doubt in my mind that Jay's father. I did not sleep with anybody else in that time when I was with him.
Although her relationship with JC was fast-paced, the progression was pretty normal. 2 people met, fell in love, slept together, and the woman got pregnant. Mrs. Crow's story is quite convincing.
Well, that's your own opinion. That's your own opinion.
The mental capacity of a 16-year-old.
And this and you know what? He had feelings.
He was schizophrenic.
He had feelings.
He was schizophrenic.
And I took care of him.
And my son
I didn't leave him because of that.
Mom. And she could have told him she was pregnant. That's his.
Now, this is hilarious for so many reasons. Ms. Reinhardt's little technique to identify her grandkids is just ridiculous. Besides, the pictures look identical, don't they? That baby looks like grandma to me. But again, we cannot be so sure.
He has a silly sense of humor like Jay. He likes to dance like Jay. And, just right there, you can see it. Like his hair, that is Jay. And, there are things about him that are a lot like me. But at the same time, you cannot deny that. That's his father.
Ms. Reinhardt says the baby doesn't look like her, and Ms. Crow's like, that's okay because the baby looks like his father. Even though both metrics don't matter in the long run, Ms. Crow currently has the upper hand.
I have a bowed left leg. My daughter has a bowed left leg. JC was pigeon-toed from birth. So JC lived being severely pigeon-toed all his life.
And you believe this baby does not have that characteristic, which furthers your doubt.
Here we go again with all the features. Can we please understand that all of this does not matter here? Any baby can look like any of their parents, grandparents, be lighter or darker too. We're at paternity court to check out the baby's genes, ma'am.
On Facebook of another man that
my
she was
boyfriend.
with.
That's not his father. He was Jamaican. Does he look half Jamaican? And I lost my father the same year my son lost his father. So there's no reason why I would be up here for no reason. I'm doing this for my son. My son has the right to know, and Jay has...
You can tell Ms. Reinhardt is trying so hard to look for proof that the baby's not JC's. Now, she brings up the issue of Ms. Crow's Jamaican boyfriend when the baby doesn't even look the least bit Jamaican.
I didn't even know when the baby was born because I wasn't contacted.
Jay knew.
Jay knew. He's supposedly the alleged father, not...
It don't have to be alleged because we're going to find out today.
So,
You're gonna see for yourself.
Yes. I can let my scab build back up.
Because it's all about you, right? It's about my son. It don't matter about you or me. It's about my son.
It is glaring how much these 2 women can't stand themselves. And it is sad because they're losing sight of what matters at the moment. The baby. Their arguments are both valid, but the baby's paternity is at stake.
And this is serious because JC is gone now.
Yeah,
he's no longer with us, but this baby, who's potentially his biological child, is here, 2 years old. Only seen his father one time, and the mother and the grandmother are...
The two women could keep going on and on and on, but there's no time for that. It's time to see what the results say. So Ms. Crow will know if she's getting those death benefits or not. It is time to resolve this case once and for all.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Reinhardt and Thomas Crow, 99.6% you are related. Ms. Reinhardt, you have never laid eyes on your grandchild. Ms. Crow, I have to ask you.
She had sex with his best friend and multiple men. At least this is what Mr. Gonzalez argues today in court. Ms. Salvo and Mr. Gonzalez were a match made in heaven, or so they thought. But today, these two cannot seem to agree on a single thing.
Your Honor, I can't stand him. He knows Amaya's his daughter, but he refuses to take care of him. I've never, ever had sex with any Hispanic man but him. I prefer black people. I don't like Hispanic men. I was intoxicated at the time. I was drunk, he came over.
What an interesting revelation from her very first retort in court. She does not like Hispanic men, I see. Oh, Ms. Salvo, nobody asked about your sexual preference. If you're so particular about Hispanic men, explain the Hispanic baby in court right now. You were drunk, huh?
Now, Ms. Salvo, you claim that this testimony is false. It's incorrect.
Yes, Your Honor. The whole part 6 times. That's ridiculous. It wasn't even good, so why would I keep going?
So you had sex with Mr. Gonzalez one time?
Yes.
The sex was protected or not?
It wasn't.
What a woman. She is right, though. It takes just one time. Now, here's the question of who's lying between them. Is it Mr. Gonzalez with his 6-time count or Ms. Salvo with his 1-time hit? Regardless of what it is, someone is definitely going to have a mountain of regret.
Now, is that the only reason you excluded your ex-boyfriend?
Yes.
Is because you felt like Amaya looked Hispanic and not black?
She has too much of him. She looks way too much. The dimple, she has one dimple just like he does.
Well, would you look at that? Every single time, one person in court always feels entitled to the semblance card. If Ms. Salvo thinks her baby belongs to Mr. Gonzalez simply because she looks like him, she really has no valid point, especially after having sex with other men. Who's to say that her ex-boyfriend does not have Hispanic ancestry?
My doubt is, I took my best friend over there to her house. 5 days later, he's Hispanic, Puerto Rican. He tells me, he showed me naked pictures of Ashley like this.
Whoa, she did what? Now, why was Mr. Gonzalez's friend at her house? Mauricio, how do the pictures exist if Ms. Salvo never takes naked pictures like she said? These pictures are suggestive, and Mr. Gonzalez has nothing to gain from lying about them. Now, again, who is lying between these two?
I guess what you would call it fast. That was when 18 and under. Yeah, I was young and dumb. I was a kid. I did everything with whoever at that time. I conceived my daughter at 18.
Whoa. Let's get one thing straight first. She was pregnant with her baby when she was how old? The amount of teenage pregnancies on paternity court is absolutely alarming. Also, Ms. Salvo is admitting to being promiscuous. Now, all that is left is to figure out which of them is lying.
This Mexican guy, he keep looking mad at me like he want to fight me or something. I asked Ashley, why that guy so mad at me? Why he looked like he want to fight me? Oh, because he wanted to be the baby daddy, but I tell him you're the baby daddy.
Was that your response to that question, Ms. Salvo?
Oh my goodness. What are these stories about different men coming up at various intervals? Why is a random man from her elementary school coming into her life right now? If truly it was elementary school, why then did he want a baby by you? Has he been saying that since elementary school, Ms. Salvo?
Mr. Gonzalez, it seemed as if you were hoping Amaya was your daughter.
I want Amaya to be my daughter.
You do?
Yeah, I don't want her. It's not her fault she's here in this world. She's an innocent little girl. The baby used to come to my house. She used to eat in my house. My mom used to get her stuff, everything.
Oh, what a woman. Bless her dear soul. She did all of that for the baby amidst the thick fog of doubt in the air that the baby may not be her son's. It really helps nobody when one person says one thing and the other person claims another story. Now that all of the fog is over, we simply cannot wait to get the results.
And if she is your biological child,
I would like to have weekends.
You're going to step up to the plate?
Yes, ma'am.
And do what needs to be done to care for this beautiful little girl?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well,
Jerome, I'm ready for the result. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows.
What a guy. Now we get to find out whose story holds water. From Ms. Salvo denying all the cheating allegations to Mr. Gonzalez, claiming that his fiancée slept with 1 million men and some. Who made the mistake, and who is going to regret their silly decisions?
You are not the father.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Can I still come around and see Amaya and help her out if I can? Because for a year and 4 or 5 months, she's been my daughter and she's still going to be my daughter. And I told her that before she came in the show. I got on my knees and I told her that no matter...
Convince you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Miss Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family.
This is about to be one interesting case. How do you tell a girl you cannot have kids only to come back all of a sudden and you're sure her child is yours? What a guy, really. What a guy.
How it happened was we met through a mutual friend, and I didn't know anything about Mr. Kid starting off. My mutual friend ended up leaving, and the situation that I was in, I didn't have anywhere to go. And that's how me and Mr. Kid ended up having relations, because I was staying with him. But as you know, everything progressed and everything started off.
Looks like one big love rectangle. Just how many people are involved in this story? Mr. Kidd, Ms. Rawlings, the mutual friend, the new lady. It's kind of hard to keep up. One thing we've gathered, though, is she was in a sexual relationship with Mr. Kidd and some other guy at the same time.
You were pregnant, and then somehow he assumed he was the father?
When I found out I was pregnant, Mr. Kidd told me himself that he has some type of rare form blood disease and that me and his child would die if I was pregnant by him.
Oh, he had a rare blood disease.
Well, well, well. The story's coming together now. Seems Mr. Kidd didn't really understand the disease, and because he's never gotten anyone pregnant, he thought Ms. Rawlings couldn't be pregnant for him. What a naive young man. But it doesn't end there.
We've never been in a relationship.
So it wasn't just a sexual relationship?
No, ma'am. We were just, she just needed somewhere to stay. So I was just looking out for her, and it just became a sexual encounter.
It was an encounter?
No.
More than one, but...
So that's what we call a sexual relationship.
At least Mr. Kidd, his mother, and Ms. Rawlings agree on one thing. Mr. Kidd and Ms. Rawlings were in a strictly sexual relationship. There were no feelings attached, no love, nothing. They were just in that situation because they were living together.
Here at the defendant podium, you say you know Mr. Kidd is not your child's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a manipulation tactic.
It was, as long as you were giving her what she wanted and needed at the time, it was okay. I've never one time been told I wasn't the grandmother. She did not ever say.
Now here we go again. Baby Nathaniel can't possibly look like everybody. At this point, it seems everyone is seeing what they want to see, and it's quite funny because it isn't all about the child's physical appearance. It honestly feels like Ms.
I actually came to the hospital after I gave birth to Nathaniel, and they instantly, you seen it in his face and in Nathaniel's face, his face lit up. And even his brother was there and was like, yeah, man, that's your son.
The other guy?
Yes. No, because I didn't have my ID.
Ms. Rawlings is one lady who is easily persuaded. This person tells her her son looks like them, and she agrees. Someone else says the same thing, and she agrees. Make up your mind, sister.
She was going through a situation and got kicked out of where she lived because her choice of men are not just the greatest, I guess, in the world. He wasn't safe. She wasn't safe. She was trying to get her life together. She gave me the baby for a period of time with a
How long?
I had him for a month and a couple days.
The more she speaks, the more we see how confused Ms. Rawlings is. It's one thing to tell a man he's not the father of your son, and it's another thing to take advantage of his family's kindness and availability. It's unfair to keep manipulating them that way.
It's a boy, you know what I'm saying? I'll be around, I'll help out, but I couldn't take care of him as if he was my child.
All right, I think I've heard enough. I'm ready for the results. Jerome?
Well, Judge, we've also had enough. Who is Nathaniel's dad? Mr. Kidd or the other guy somewhere? What do you think? This is one very complicated case, but the test results will hopefully resolve it once and for all.
Mr. Kidd, you are the father. You are the father.
Thank you.
And at least even the fact that he said that he would have stood up, that was what I was still going for, period. The fact that that is his son, I am happy because me and him, we don't have a hate type relationship.
Racist moments on paternity court.
I've got the darkest hair in our family, and the rest of my kids are white and blonde. My grandchildren are all white.
A white person and a black person can still have a white baby.
You are correct, Miss McLean, that a black man and a white woman can make very fair-skinned children that appear almost white.
Get ready for a classic showdown. Miss Strong took Mr. Strong to court to find out if he was the dad of Miss McLean's 14-month-old baby, Angel. Miss McLean was pretty sure he wasn't, thanks to a passionate night they had. Will Mr. Strong be named Angel's dad, or is there more to this story? Watch as they sort it out.
Your Honor, a little over a year ago, me and Miss McLean got together. We were friends. We had discussed doing a threesome. My husband had always wanted to do it. I figured if I did it with him, then we discussed everything beforehand of what, possibilities could be.
What possibilities?
If she did get pregnant, of which we were under the understanding there was a medical reason she couldn't.
What? I hope y'all don't get some wrong ideas for your birthday. Yes, get yourself prepared to end up like Mr. Strong. But what a huge mess. Rules were established before the 2+1 adventure. Let's just hear them out.
I heard rumors about her being pregnant, but I was told it was an ex-boyfriend.
So wait, I want to understand, after this night, you just had this one night, or was it more than one night?
More than one night.
More than one night. So you had more than one threesome?
Yes, ma'am.
How many more threesomes did you have?
We've had a total of 8 of them.
Mr. Strong was initially hesitant, stemming from prior relationship mistakes, but ultimately agreed to participate. Well, sir, you did pass that loyalty test, didn't you? But did you just realize what it meant? Miss McLean was having the +1 company before and after the pregnancy. Whoa!
She's not also mixed with African American either. So,
hold on, catch me up. What am I missing?
The other possibilities are African American men.
And you don't believe Angel looks like she's African American?
Absolutely not.
Wait a sec. How did this conversation turn out to be so racial all of a sudden? So we have another participant who's waiting on the list. Let's just hear this conversation. I mean, come on, you're talking about a baby here, not some furniture.
A white person and a black person can still have a white baby.
Well, no, they can't.
They technically can, not to argue with you. Look
I
it
have
up.
mixed nieces and nephews.
No, what they can have
is an albino,
is
but
a biracial child. So what I will say, you are correct, Miss McLean.
So it means that regardless of the race, the African American man has been ruled out. But according to the plaintiff, they were never told about the baby being born, and they came to know about the baby through a third party.
Once you had your boyfriend tested and he was not Angel's biological father, you then shifted to believing it was Mr. Strong's child?
I did, because in all reality, my daughter has a lot of Douglas's tendencies. Pulling on her ears when she's tired or she's frustrated, Douglas does that. The Flintstone feet that he has, my daughter has.
What in the world is happening here? Can someone please talk about science other than just some random guesses? But the main question remains, why hasn't the couple Strong notified of the child being born early? Now this is something that raises a lot of questions.
I had her tested April 10th of this year with the other gentleman.
But then you contacted us in June. There's a whole gap there.
I haven't been around either. We were going back and forth to Chicago to all the doctors for her eye. She has a problem with her eye. It's a hemangioma. Her blood vessels grow too quickly in her eye.
Well, Miss McLean, now it's time for you to deal with the DNA results. So before wasting any more time or doing a racist commentary, how about we just let the science set the record straight for this adventurous couple? So, here are the test results.
Mr. Strong, you are not the father. Mr. and Miss Strong, it seemed like you were very happy at the thought of having Angel as your little girl, but unfortunately you are not her biological father.
Mr. Ruddles has carried a lifelong belief that his medical condition, hypospadias, would forever prevent him from becoming a father. That's gotta hurt. The arrival of his daughter Ireland was seen as a miraculous exception to this belief. That now he was like, nah man, I ain't the daddy.
For me to be able to have a daughter, it's a miracle.
Having Ireland.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Miss Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you want that miracle too.
Yes.
But you just don't believe.
No, I don't.
This is the case.
Not in my heart.
Tell the court.
He has I don't know what it's called.
Called a hypospadias.
However, this belief was shaken when Miss Taylor raised doubts about Mr. Ruddles' paternity. She confessed to a brief encounter with another man around the time of pregnancy. initiating a paternity dispute. Can you just imagine the earth swinging under the defendant's feet?
I had went and cheated on him with a guy I had actually known for a little while.
That's funny, because that ain't what you would told me.
Oh, it is not?
No.
What did she tell you, Mr. Ronald?
Her original story, when I found out, because like I said, like this is a miracle baby to me. You know, this is, bottom line is, this don't work. If this is not my kid, I gotta go. There's not no more to it.
Mr. Runnels had been taking medical lectures, not in hopes of becoming a doctor, but to delve into understanding hypospadias. Now that's one commitment of becoming a father. He had undergone multiple surgeries to address it, but the medical prognosis remained uncertain.
Why is it so important to you to establish that you were also the biological father?
I've never fully gotten into my medical disorder. You know, I've never fully looked into it. I've never made myself 100% aware of exactly what was going on.
Miss Taylor's initial reluctance to reveal her pregnancy secret was driven by her deep desire to maintain her friendship with Mr. Runnels. She grappled with the implications of her actions, leading to a complex web of hidden truths. Like they say, do what you gotta do to protect your love, right?
When you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell? The other guy you were pregnant, or did you tell Mr. Runnels?
I told them both, actually. I told the other guy on Facebook that I might be pregnant, it could be his baby, and I told him too.
But did you tell Mr. Runnels you cheated?
No, ma'am.
No, I did not. He found out physically on my Facebook.
I had to hack her Facebook and find out by myself after.
Ultimately, like every other case, it all came down to looking at the baby's features. And here, Miss Taylor presented a picture to match the features with the baby daddy. I mean, come on, how stupid can it get? Here, have a look. It's like we aren't all here for science, but the signs.
These are pictures of Ireland.
Yeah, that was at 22 weeks. You could see the features. That was a 3D ultrasound and a 4D one combined. That's when I started to think that he wasn't the father. I didn't want to tell him because I liked the way it was. I was happy with the way we were living life.
The other guy does not believe he can be the father either?
No, he doesn't.
So, never mind. With everything on the table, both parties have clarified their concerns. How about we just focus back from the physical appearances to just some DNA talking? Judge Lake, you may have the honor. Buckle up.
Mr. Runnels, you are her father.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, it is a
Made me nervous
baby.
for a minute. That's.
Miss Currington and Mr. Kim Larson were entangled in a passionately age-diverse love affair, complete with all the sugary sweetness you could imagine. The plaintiff confidently asserted that the defendant had indeed assumed the role of a sugar daddy, generously fathering her 5-month-old daughter. Now that's sugar, spice, and everything nice. Let's see how she feels about this situation.
How upset does it make you feel that Mr. Kim Larson denies your daughter?
It makes me feel pissed because we planned this baby.
Planned the baby?
Yes, we did.
What was said?
He wanted to have a baby by me, and that was that. And we kept trying.
And now that the baby's here, he denies the baby?
Yes, because I'm in another relationship.
This is just so funny. I mean, you just understand the dynamics of this couple. There was a lot going on with age and the race. So how about we just listen to Mr. Kim's encounter with Miss Plaintiff for the first time?
I met Ian at the hotel. He approached me and asked me if I'd seen his girlfriend, and I said no, but I would help you look for her. So we walked in.
What made you want to help him look for his girlfriend?
Because I was being nice at the time.
You were being nice?
Promiscuous.
So wait,
No,
a
honest,
man?
No, honest, she took an opportunity. She thought I was Asian. She thought I had a money.
Asians are the ones with money? Now, isn't that just racist? Well, the gold digger or the sugar daddy thought has been derived by the defendant's daughter. I mean, like someone here just to support the daddy, that's endorsement to the next level.
I know these types of women. They pray. Men like this, like kind-hearted, very openly, and she took advantage of my dad. You know, if that's my dad's baby, because she be messing around in the streets. So how are we supposed to know for sure if that's my dad's baby or not? So
by the looks of Mr. Kim's first daughter, that is highly possible he said that. But never mind. Then the plaintiff said something that did clarify a major part to the story. Listen to how the defendant pulled up at the hotel looking like Tom Cruise.
So, yeah, I seen him pull up in that nice car. I'm like, who is that? So to find out he come in here looking for his girlfriend.
Oh, you saw him pull up before he even got in the hotel?
Yes.
Oh, and so you saw him pull up in a nice car, so you said, oh, look at him, get out his little cute car, and you thought he was handsome.
They moved fast in their relationship, with Miss Carrington moving in with Ian only 2 weeks after they started dating. She even got to use Ian's car, and they seemed committed to each other. But things went south because they had trust issues. Ian started to think Tanya was seeing other guys, and that's why they broke up.
She had her cousins up in there, whatever extra boyfriend she had at the time.
Also, my neighbor been calling me saying that she had multiple guys in my house. Whoever, I don't know what to believe.
Did you have other men at the house, Miss Carrington?
Yes, I did, but they was my cousin.
And they were up in Mr. Larson's house?
Yes.
Mr. Kim was present at the birth, but got kicked out of the hospital for his behavior. However, the reason? Tensions rose when Mr. Kim overheard Miss Carrington on the phone with someone else. They eventually got evicted from their residence, and their relationship became even more complicated.
Miss Carrington, were you having a relationship with anybody else at that time when you left?
No, I just had a one-night stand.
She lied. Last time I checked, she was dating some old man. I don't know. He
I
was
still
40
am.
to 50.
And I still
years old.
But
like-
your dad is 40 to 50.
Well, the Sugar Daddy Chronicles were far from being over. In an attempt to settle the score among them both, Judge Lake just had to read out those results. I mean, it was now high time to let the science figure out to whom the sugar candy belongs to.
Mr. Kim Larson, you are the father.
Dad, no.
That makes you emotional to hear, Mr. Kim Larson?
Yes, hold on.
And why is that?
I don't know how to expect.
All right, paternity peeps, we know any drama isn't complete without a dash of paternity uncertainty. Meet Wesley, a young lad with autism, raised primarily by his ever-so-involved grandmother. His parents? Well, that's where things get interesting. Stay tuned for what surely charts the course of Wesley's future.
I can come and see my son whenever I want to, and yet I have to see him outside. I'm not allowed inside the house, so I don't see a reason to put a 1-year-old child outside in the cold just for me to be able to see him or for me to be able to help out with him. I pay $269 plus money in my arrearments. I'm $13,000 in debt because of it.
Here's the twist. Mr. Marsh, listed as daddy on Wesley's birth certificate, was here today to claim that he's not the real dad. Hold your breath for the big reveal. And let's not forget Wesley's grandmother, who insists that the plaintiff has been the poster child for deadbeat dads. Well, Granny does have some fancy ways to insult.
Is he being threatened when he comes to try to see Wesley?
He's not allowed in my house anymore because when my grandson was 2.5 months old, he came over to the house and he disrespected me and my husband in my house. And at that point, I told him that he needs to leave. And if he wants to see his son, that we will meet somewhere or he can be outside in the times that it's cold outside.
That's not what he said.
Mrs. Maldonado, the doting grandmother / legal guardian who's crying out for help. She's convinced Mr. Marsh is the embodiment of irresponsibility. The missing piece? Wesley's elusive mother, who's apparently not winning any Parent of the Year awards either. But before we got there, why is there a doubt?
He just does not look like me. I'm all white. There's no any other kind of descent in my family. Jolene's half Puerto Rican. Jeremy's father's is full-blood Puerto Rican.
When his mother was pregnant, were you ever told it could be anyone else?
I had Jeremy who cracked jokes about, oh, you might want to get a paternity test because it was a big joke around.
Come on, like what has happened to y'all? How more racist can it get? The plaintiff merely has doubts for the baby because of the baby's skin color. But wait, it doesn't end here. Well, the cherry on top, according to Mr. Marsh, Wesley resembles the neighbor more than him. So here we are with child support payments. Check. Arrearments? Check. Debt? Check. Drama? Double check.
Jolene Neely and Edward Marsh in high school. After Ms. Neely got pregnant, we had a falling out. I don't remember what caused the argument, and I haven't spoken to either of them since then. Edward Marsh is accusing me of being the father to Wesley, and I know it's not true. And I can't wait for the DNA results to prove it.
But you surely wouldn't believe it, knowing that the child's mother has been a habitual liar. Her family members did warn Mr. Marsh. How about we listen to what Miss Maldonado had tagged along for some light shedding clarification?
What do you have to add? You were there for this conversation?
Yes, I was.
What do you know about this?
Well, I know that my sister cannot tell the truth to save her soul. There is no doubt in my mind. If she told me the sky was blue, I would actually look before believing that the sky was actually blue.
Do you believe that Mr. Marsh is Wesley's father?
Honestly, I do not believe he is.
Really?
Dead serious.
However, to further confirm the doubts, according to Mr. Marsh, mother testify that the baby never felt his. Now, isn't that a boomerang on the added doubts? I just wonder what the future holds for this poor child. Just listen to Big Mama rant about being blonde.
I've got the darkest hair in our family, and the rest of my kids are white and blonde. My grandchildren are all white and blonde.
Wait a minute, though, because he just already said that the mother's family has Puerto Rican descent there, so why is it such a question if you know on their side of the family there are other nationalities?
I don't know, man. This skin tone tale of he said, she said was far from being over, as suddenly everyone's an expert on whose genes are dominant. Meanwhile, Wesley remains at the center of it all, an innocent bystander in a familial feud. Can we please put the drama aside and focus on what's best for the child? The DNA!
Mr. Marsh, you are father.
Does that mean I get my rights to him? And I can go without the threats and actually be able to get it?
you.
I've sat on the fence for 5 years about getting the paternity test done because I wanted to believe that he was mine.
How could I raise you when I didn't love myself? What would I do for you?
I have
Wasn't
the
nothing I
one
could do for y'all.
You didn't try.
Yes, sir. When I did try, when I did.
No, you didn't.
Wait a minute, y'all love me. When I can do something for y'all, then y'all always, then y'all stand in the back. He won't have to deal with it because he will get what's coming to him.
Why not? I always be his mother.
You might always be the mother, but you're not a mama. A mama. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but this is a lot on my chest.
Mr. Hoyer has spent 14 years searching for his father and sadly found his alleged father has passed. However, Mrs. Porter and her mother, Mrs. Horn, claim Mr. Hoyer has no ties to their family whatsoever and is here to prove that.
Mr. Hoyer, after 14 years of being in foster care, you desperately searched for your father. Sadly, that search ended when you learned that your alleged father, Mr. James Horn, was tragically killed.
This might be one of the saddest stories on paternity court. Mr. Hoyer spent 14 years in foster care with zero idea of who his father was. And to make matters worse, when he finally thinks he has found him, he finds out he passed away. And the family he believes he finally found denies all relationships with him.
So, Mr. Hoyer, please share. What was it like growing up without a father?
Your Honor, it was like hell growing up without a father. I was taken away when I was 3 and 9. I was in foster care for 14 years. Got adopted when I was 14.
Wait, so his mother was a stripper, so that's why he has no idea who the father is. Wow, what a messed up childhood he had. And to make matters worse, apparently, the new boyfriend knew exactly who the father was. Let's get some more details on this.
So this is a photo of the man you were told is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you look at this picture, do you see yourself?
I do in some ways. I see myself through the smile and through the forehead and the eyebrow.
They do look somewhat similar, I can't lie. But as we know, looks don't mean anything. Only DNA. And hold up, the alleged father on his deathbed mentioned he doesn't have any kids. Could this be true, or was he just hiding his kid? Let's get some more information.
He went over and asked my alleged uncle about the name, James Horn, and he was like, yes, that's my brother. So my adopted brother came and got me, took me over to his neighbors, and that's how I met him.
What was that encounter like? What happened? Take me step by step.
So that's how he found out this man could possibly be his father. What a mess this all is. Some family members say he could be his kid, others say there's no chance. All this kid wants to know is who the father is, nothing else.
My son Arthur brought him in, and he said, I want you to see him, see, is this your grandson? And here's the word I said. I said no, because I hadn't heard it before. Because before my son left me, he said he didn't have any kids.
Mrs. Porter already said that she was pretty close to her late brother. If indeed he had a serious relationship with Mrs. Gentry, wouldn't he have mentioned it to his sister? Especially because Mrs. Gentry here claims they were in love.
It was a secret. I didn't even know I was really pregnant until I was 6 months. But like I have told my son, there is another man before this man.
Wait a minute, is Mrs. Gentry saying that she had sexual relations with another man during the time her son was conceived? That means two things. One, she cheated on the man she claims to have been in love with. Two, she's not certain Mr. Horn Horn is her son's father.
When the first time we ever seen her was 2 weeks after the funeral. 2 weeks after my brother was put in the ground, this young lady came and knocked at my mother's door. She says, "I have your brother's child."
So Miss Porter and her family sent Miss Gentry away with her little boy 20 years ago? That sounds a bit brutal. What if he turns out to be their blood? That's 23 years down the drain just because he didn't look like them. And there's even more.
Oh, well, they don't want to be a part of his life. I'm going to go contact the other gentleman.
No, I did not. I just walked out and I forgot all about it.
Okay.
Miss Gentry sounds so shady if you ask me. After she was sent away by Mr. Horn's family, she made no attempt to find her son's father. This would have made sense if she tried to be a good mother, but she did not attempt to do that too.
Told him anything about my brother? It was awful. She told him he was a crackhead. She told him he was a drunk. She told him he wasn't no good. My brother was an upstanding.
Did I ever tell you that?
Miss Gentry has been a terrible mother, spoon-feeding Mr. Hoyer lies about Mr. Horn. And we totally understand Mrs. Porter's anger because Mr. Hoyer deserves a family. He deserves love. And most of all, he deserves to know his father.
He won't have to deal with you because he will get what's coming to him.
Why not? I always be his mother.
You might always be the mother, but you're not a mama. A mama. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but this is a lot on my chest.
That's right, Mrs. Porter. There's a huge difference between giving birth to a child and being that child's mother. And so far, so good. Mrs. Gentry has failed terribly at the latter. Let's see what Mrs. Gentry has to say.
You heard the whole entire family. He don't know nothing about no aunts and uncles,
You need to come up
no
and take it up
grandparents.
again.
He don't know nothing.
Miss Horn, I have to ask you because as you can hear, this is a very passionate...
Mrs. Gentry isn't even the least bit apologetic. It seems like she was forced to be in court today, and she's not even trying to deny it. Minute after minute, we see how terrible a mother she is. But wait, there's more.
Do you feel that there's any possibility that he could be your grandchild?
It could be. I can't prove it, ma'am. I wish it was. I hope so.
You said you do hope so.
Now that Mrs. Porter admits that there's a resemblance between her late brother and Mr. Hoyer, you can tell that they really want him in their family, and maybe, just maybe, the late Mr. Horn lied to them about not having any kids.
That makes me believe that there's someone out there that will accept me. So hopefully I am James Horn's son, because I will actually have a place where I will be able to fit in.
We can see why he desperately wants the results to come out positive. It's been even more difficult for Mr. Hoyer to fit in because he is biracial. His mom did say she was from a racist family, so maybe she couldn't deal with being the mom of a biracial child.
You deserve that, sweetheart.
Yes,
you do.
Yes, he do.
I think it's time for the results.
Yes, he do.
Will Mr. Hoyer get his dream family, or will he have to continue his search for his father? The results are in, and we are about to get the biggest shock ever. Are you ready? Hang on to your seat because this gets crazy.
As it pertains to the likelihood of whether Mr. James Horn is your biological father, the DNA test results have determined that Mr. Horn is not likely your biological father.
Ms. Rawlings thinks that Mr. Kidd and his mom are trying to steal her kid from her, and she is not having it. Mr. Kidd and his mother, on the other hand, are certain Nathaniel is theirs. Let us get to the bottom of this thorny case.
You say Ms. Rawlings is a manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have
This is about to be one interesting case. How do you tell a girl you cannot have kids? Then all of a sudden, you're sure her child is yours. There's something off in this story, and we've got to find out ASAP, and there's more.
How it happened was we met through a mutual friend, and I didn't know anything about Mr. Kidd. Starting off, my mutual friend ended up leaving, and the situation that I was in, I didn't have anywhere to go. And that's how me and Mr. Kidd ended up.
Looks like one big love rectangle. Just how many people are involved in this story? Mr. Kidd, Ms. Rawlings, the mutual friend, the new lady. It's kind of hard to keep up. One thing we've gathered, though, is she was in a sexual relationship with Mr. Kidd and some other guy at the same time.
No, ma'am.
You just told him you were pregnant, and then somehow he assumed he was the father?
When I found out I was pregnant, Mr. Kidd told me himself that he has some type of rare form blood disease and that me and his child would die.
Well, the story's coming together now. Seems Mr. Kidd didn't really understand the disease, and because he's never gotten anyone pregnant, he thought Ms. Rawlings couldn't be pregnant for him. What a naive young man, but it doesn't end there.
So it wasn't just a sexual relationship?
No, ma'am. We were just, she just needed somewhere to stay. So I was just looking out for her, and it just became a sexual encounter.
It was an encounter?
More than one, but you know.
So that's what we call a sexual relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a form of a relationship where you have sex, but you have no commitment.
At least Mr. Kidd, his mother, and Ms. Rawlings agree on one thing. Mr. Kidd and Ms. Rawlings were in a strictly sexual relationship. There were no feelings attached, no love, nothing. They were just in that situation because they were living together.
Who got my son's baby pictures? She said, that's not your son. I said, yes, that is. I gave birth to him. I know who he is. She said, that's his son. And I was like, what? Hold on. No. Why am I just now hearing about this? So I contacted his friend who gave me.
It's beautiful to see how badly Ms. Jenkins wants the baby to be her son's, and also nice to know that she has shared beautiful moments with him. It's not every day you see grandmas like this on paternity court. And guess what? It gets even worse.
Here at the defendant podium, you say you know Mr. Kidd is not your child's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a manipulation tactic.
It was as long as you were giving her what she wanted and needed at the time.
Now we're back in the maze. Baby Nathanel can't possibly look like everybody. At this point, it seems everyone is seeing what they want to see. And it's quite funny because it isn't all about the child's physical appearance.
I actually came to the hospital after I gave birth to Nathaniel, and they instantly, you seen it in his face and in Nathaniel's face, his face lit up. And even his brother was there and was like, yeah, man, that's your son.
It honestly feels like Ms. Rawlings is one lady who is easily persuaded. This person tells her her son looks like them, and she agrees. Someone else says the same thing, and she agrees. Make up your mind, sister.
She was going through a situation and got kicked out of where she lived because her choice of men are not just the greatest, I guess, in the world. He wasn't safe. She wasn't safe. She was trying to get her life together. She gave me the baby for a period of time.
The more she speaks, the more we see how confused Ms. Rawlings is. It's one thing to tell a man he's not the father of your son, and it's another thing to take advantage of his family's kindness and availability. It's unfair to keep manipulating them that way.
What is your assessment of this particular medical situation?
So I think there's two separate issues here. There was an issue about RH blood incompatibility.
Yes.
And that has to do with a mother and a baby, and if there's different blood types between the father of the baby, positive and negative.
Well, that is out of the way. It appears Mr. Kidd is very much able to father a child, which means he's back in the race for Nathaniel's paternity. And that's not even close to the end of this fiasco.
Your belief? Because when you came in, you don't really think he's the biological father.
No, ma'am.
And Ms. Jenkins and Mr. Kidd, if Nathaniel is proven not to be your biological child, grandchild, do you still want to maintain a relationship with him?
That makes sense because he was never in a relationship with Ms. Rawlings. If the child turns out not to be his, they'd have nothing tying them together. This is one insane case, and it gets even worse. Let's see.
As much as I can, but I couldn't take care of him as if he was my child.
All right. I think I've heard enough. I'm ready for the results. Jerome?
Well, Judge, we've also had enough. Who is Nathaniel's dad, Mr. Kidd or the other guy somewhere? What do you think? This is one very complicated case, but the test results will hopefully resolve it once and for all.
Mr. Kidd, you are the father. You are the father.
Thank you.
And at least even the fact that he said that he would have stood up, that was what I was still going for, period. The fact that that is his son, I am happy because me and him, we don't have a hate type relationship.
Mr. Cooper and his mother believe Armani, his last child with his wife, isn't his. But his wife, Ms. Cooper, is confident he's Armani's father and is uncomfortable with how much her mother-in-law meddles in their marriage. Let us find out more details about this case.
So today you are here to break the cycle because another of your sons, Mr. Cooper, has a child whose paternity is also in question. Now, Mr. Cooper, you say your wife, Mrs. Cooper, was secretly sleeping with you and another man around the same time she conceived your daughter.
Yet again, we have a lady versus mama and son type of case. But this time around, it's a married couple in question. Why does Mr. Cooper think baby Armani isn't his? Let's find out what this case is about.
The first time I had an inclination that something was going on. I was actually
working, and I got sent home early. There was a power outage. They sent us home.
Wow. So Mrs. Cooper brought another man into her marital home and lied that her husband didn't live there. That's one bold move. And he must have been there several times while Mr. Cooper was at work.
Walter has cheated on me so much that at that time, what I did was I wanted Walter to feel all the pain that he had inflicted on me all them years. We've been off and on for 9 years.
Your husband cheated on you, and the best way you could handle it was to cheat too? His actions hurt her and the kids, and she thought the best way to correct that was to hurt him back. That is one absurd conflict resolution technique, and it doesn't even ADD up.
Talking is one thing. Ignoring you is one thing. But if you feel like you got to step out your marriage to get added attention or a conversation, then just get a divorce.
Understandably, she wanted Wante's divorce, and he didn't. But a marriage is a marriage. A marriage is supposed to be sacred, and when it turns into a tit-for-tat scheme, it'll keep going down, down, down till it's destroyed.
After that particular incident, I thought we were getting things back in order, okay?
After this incident with the cheating, you say in your mind, okay, we've confronted it, it's out on the table, let's just try to start over.
Mrs. Cooper's admitting that she saw other people while separated from her husband explains why the family is in court today. Now, we're beginning to see why Mr. Cooper and his mom think the baby is for someone else.
I know who the other guy is.
Okay.
When I actually had a chance to meet him, we would sit down, talk, we hang out, things of this stuff.
You and the guy she cheated with?
Me and the guy that she cheated with.
Of all the men she could possibly cheat with, Mrs. Cooper chose her husband's friend. That must have been a punch in his gut when he found out. And guess what? This case gets even more complicated.
My concern is this. When I look at Armani, I don't see me.
So, Miss Cooper, I see you're very emotional.
When I conceived, I was with Walter. We both went to the doctors and...
Sir, when we look at Armani, we don't see you either. Fine, he has white blood in his ancestry and all. But this baby does not look like Mr. Cooper. We understand why he and his mother are not convinced. However, we must always remember that paternity is hardly ever about skin tone or resemblance, and it's more about the DNA.
So, Mr. Cooper, you signed the birth certificate.
Yes, I did.
And at that time, you said, I'm going to be her father. Did you have any doubt?
I've had a doubt.
Aside from the subject of race, Mr. Cooper and his mom are disturbed by Miss Cooper's infidelity. Armani coming out looking all white was only the cherry on top. It reinforced their belief that the pregnancy was for someone else.
Issues of what's going on with me because I'm feeling like I can't write a song. I'm having problems in my own personal business life. I bring it to my wife and I tell her this is what the situation is. We tend to, I brought it to you.
Hold up. Mr. Cooper met Mrs. Cooper when she was pregnant by another man? Who? That means that he stepped up as the father of that child and married her. And since then, they raised the boy together, along with their other kids. And now it seems like it's happening again.
I believe in my heart that that's his. That's his baby.
And as you look at her, do you see?
I see him
Mr.
in
Cooper?
her. If you look at her face, her eyes change colors just like his does.
Mrs. Cooper seems very confident, but what does the way the baby sleeps have to do with anything? That piece of detail is inconsequential to the matter at hand, which is a very one issue because Mr. Cooper's about to find out if he's been taking care of a child that isn't his for the second time.
So as my son, you took on this responsibility, then respect your wife needs to respect you, and they all need to love their kids. And that's how I feel about it.
You know what, Ms. Moore?
Well, Grandma's right on point, and it's time to put an end to this debate. Is Armani a product of Mr. and Mrs. Cooper's marriage, or is she a product of infidelity? Well, the test results will definitely shock you. Let's find out.
Mr. Cooper, you are not her father.
You know I still love you. This is something you all gonna have to work through. Listen to me, Ashley. Hold your head up. You have children that now you have to stand up and be a real mother. You have a little girl, and you cannot.
Ms. Reinhardt believes that Ms. Crow claims her late son, J.C. Turner, is her baby daddy just so she can get death benefits. However, Ms. Crow says her son Thomas is a result of the love she and J.C. shared while he was alive. Let us find out more.
Ms. Crow, you have summoned the defendant to court to prove that her deceased son, J.C. Turner, fathered your 2-year-old son, Thomas. You want Thomas to know who his father is, and you say that Ms. Reinhardt has done everything she can to sabotage your efforts. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's always difficult to get through a case where the alleged father is dead because we don't get to hear his side of the story. Now, all we've got is what his mom knows or what she thinks she knows.
Than just the money. I would like help with my son, yes, of course, but my son cannot grow up and meet his father. So he deserves that right to know who his father is and to know who his family is.
And to this point, he doesn't have any real knowledge of his father. You have not talked to him about his father, or have you?
It's nice of Miss Crow to give father and son the opportunity to bond over the phone, but I'm curious to find out the rest of the story. How did JC's mom know nothing about this? Well, there is only one way to find out.
I understand.
My son and I had a very tight relationship, and Jay would tell me everything when nobody else was around. I knew my son inside and out, and I just don't, as a mother, as a grandmother, having 4 babies of my own.
Looks like it's going to be a tough one because Ms. Reinhardt isn't even on the fence about it. She is totally confident the baby is not her grandchild. But why? How could she possibly be so sure?
Became inseparable. We, developed, feelings, and it did happen all too fast. He did ask me to be his girlfriend, and we did have unprotected sex as well, so.
Although her relationship with JC was fast-paced, the progression was pretty normal. 2 people met, fell in love, slept together, and the woman got pregnant. Mrs. Crow's story is quite convincing.
You told him the sky was purple.
Well, that's your own opinion. That's your own opinion.
The mental capacity of a 16-year-old.
And this okay, and you know what? He had feelings.
He was schizophrenic.
He had feelings.
He was schizophrenic, and he had stress seizures.
Now this is hilarious for so many reasons. Ms. Reinhardt's little technique to identify her grandkids is just ridiculous. Besides, the pictures look identical, don't they? That baby looks like grandma to me. But again, we cannot be so sure.
Silly sense of humor like Jay. He likes to dance like Jay. And, just right there, you can see it. Like his hair, that is Jay. And, there are things about him that are a lot like me.
Ms. Reinhardt says the baby doesn't look like her, and Ms. Crow's like, that's okay because the baby looks like his father. Even though both metrics don't matter in the long run, Ms. Crow currently has the upper hand.
I have a bowed left leg. My daughter has a bowed left leg. JC was pigeon-toed from birth. So JC lived being severely pigeon-toed.
Here we go again with all the features. Can we please cut to the chase and be serious for once? This is no joking matter. This grandma needs to understand that the case is more serious than this.
He told everybody that we would come across, friends, even people we didn't know he had conversations with. She's pregnant with my baby. He's really happy. He's excited. He never denied my child. And I knew for a fact that, he's the father because I haven't been with anybody else. I was only with him in that time frame.
Ms. Crow made a good choice in breaking up with JC for the safety of herself and her 2 other kids. But how come nobody mentioned these kids until now? Guess they're not so relevant to the case.
Of another man that
my
she was
boyfriend.
with.
That's not his father. He was Jamaican. Does he look half Jamaican? And, I lost my father the same year my son lost his father.
You can tell Ms. Reinhardt is trying so hard to look for proof that the baby's not JC's. Now, she brings up the issue of Ms. Crow's Jamaican boyfriend when the baby doesn't even look the least bit Jamaican.
I guess the question then becomes, why is your pursuit different in death than it was in life?
What?
Meaning, after the death, you had the means, the time, the wherewithal.
Now that is one tough question. You broke up with the man and he only hung out with his son once. You had 9 months before he passed, but didn't do anything until you saw his obituary?
I didn't even know when the baby was born because I wasn't in contact.
Jay knew.
Jay knew. He's
knew.
Supposedly the alleged father, not.
It don't have to be alleged because we're going to find out today.
So listen.
See for yourself.
Yes.
It is glaring how much these 2 women can't stand themselves. And it is sad because they're losing sight of what matters at the moment, the baby. Their arguments are both valid, but the baby's paternity is at stake.
Then how do you lose track of him?
That's your son.
He was mad with me because he believed that I was stealing his money. I was the one making sure his bills were paid.
Good question, because we can't push all the blame on Ms. Crow. Ms. Reinhardt was his mother at the end of the day. And if indeed he had the mental capacity of a 16-year-old, how did she leave him all alone?
And And this is serious because JC is gone now.
Yeah,
he's no longer with us, but this baby, who's potentially his biological child, is here, 2 years old. Only seen his father one time.
The two women could keep going on and on and on, but there's no time for that. It's time to see what the results say, so Ms. Crow will know if she's getting those death benefits or not. Please read the results out, Judge Lake, and let us resolve this case once and for all.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Reinhardt and Thomas Crow is 99.6%. You are related. That is your grandchild. Ms. Reinhardt, you have never laid eyes on your grandchild. Ms.
Nothing but
Crow,
picture.
I have to ask you, would
Not
it
by
be
picture.
okay